Sweetwater. The name is synonymous with championship football. 9 times they've raised the blue trophy. But recently another team has taken the top spot. Washington County has eliminated them from the playoffs the last 2 years. They play tonight for regional supremacy. It's a battle of Bulldogs on Raycom's Thursday Night Touchdowns. We welcome you to Victory Field, Nolan Atkins Stadium, for what should be a classic 2A football. It's Washington County and Sweetwater, both Bulldogs. We can't wait to bring it to you tonight on Raycom. I'm Graham Dunn. Mike Peacock will introduce our new member of the crew in just a minute. Mike, when you talk about small school, high school football in South Alabama, you can start with these two programs.
Oh, Graham, it doesn't get any better than this. These two teams have been at each other for the last couple of years. They've played 4 times. They've split the 2 games, but unfortunately for Sweetwater, Washington County's come out on top in the most important of those 2 games in the playoffs.
These two teams may not be exclusive in the running game, but they'll run it a lot. And you start first with DeAnthony Holcomb for Washington County.
What a player he is. The young man has 471 yards already this season, and I guarantee you the Bulldogs of Sweetwater will be keying on number 2 tonight.
On the other side, Eric Jenkins, he's just a sophomore, but he already leads his team in several categories.
He does. He's the leading rusher and the leading receiver for Sweetwater. He has 376 yards, 45 carries this season. He's been responsible for 7 touchdowns. He has 1 90-yard reception for a touchdown, so the young man has definitely got some talent.
We are very pleased to bring aboard Christina Chambers, who will be on the sidelines tonight. Christina, welcome to the crew.
And defend the south
Thanks, guys. While a lot of schools are switching to the spread offense, these 2 teams are going to keep it simple on the ground. Washington County may air it out some, but not much. They've only thrown the ball 14 times throughout 3 games. Sweetwater, their leading receiver, Eric Jenkins, that you guys were just talking about, leads with only 4 catches. Guys.
All right, Christina, thank you. There you go. Not many passes. We'll see the old wing T on one side, the I in the other. It should be a fun game, a very important game. These 2 teams, well, let's just put it this way. The south part of 2A, you're going to go through one of these teams at some point in time in the playoffs. We've got the kickoff coming up. Sweetwater, Washington County, next on Thursday Night Touchdowns.
I'm Steve Savarese, Executive Director of the Alabama High School Athletic Association. Unfortunately, in our society, winning has come before everything. But if winning comes at the expense of good sportsmanship, then nothing is gained in the long run. Good sportsmanship is the result of a disciplined effort to respect yourself, your opponents, and to practice the golden rule. Always remember, good sports are winners.
2/3 of drivers who died in car crashes chose to ignore this warning. Seatbelts save lives. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
If you're involved in a car crash where a driver's been drinking,
you're 4 times more likely to die.
More people die when it's DUI.
A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That changed my life.
At that moment, it hit me. This is why I joined the Guard. We're soldiers, always ready to protect our country. But we've also got communities. Family, friends, neighbors who count on us. I couldn't believe it. I just saved a life to somebody from my hometown.
See what it means to be a citizen soldier at NationalGuard.com.
Derek, what's with the scrubs? Shh.
She's going for it. It's gonna work. She's going for the burger. Stand back, everyone. I'm a doctor. Look, I got it. I'm a doctor. I got it.
Jack, Jack, Jack for more.
Washington County, Sweetwater, ready to kick it off. I can't say Bulldogs because they're both Bulldogs. Washington County will receive to start the game. Sweetwater did win the toss and deferred their choice to the second half. And we are just about ready to get underway. Sweetwater in the purple and gold. And yes, those are Michigan-like helmets, as that kick's going to sail out of bounds. And that'll be a penalty, and more than likely Washington County will take it 1st and 10 at the 35.
Well, the angled kickoff right there didn't work quite as planned, as it was kicked out of bounds, but the change in field position is not very much from where the ball went out of bounds. So
again, you will see some passing tonight, but not much. Bailey Brown is the Washington County quarterback. He will start with DeAnthony Holcomb in the backfield. He'll have a couple of receivers in James Reddy, Austin Kinsey, and Darius Turner. They'll run the I. They will run some spread. But the key word is run. High snap, a little bit of a trouble, but Holcomb will start the festivities tonight and pick up about 5 yards.
Little misdirection right there, Graham, on that first play. A nice gain after a nearly disastrous snap.
Both of these head coaches, Pat Thompson for Sweetwater, Chris Wilson for Washington County, knows that they're going to have 8, 9, 10 in the box on defense. And we'll see how they handle that tonight. 2nd and 5 from the 40. Just underway, Washington County with a football wearing white. Another handoff, minimal gain as gang tackling by Sweetwater defense. First one to hit him was Tyler Eccles, the outside linebacker. And that was Holcomb again. They'll get a plenty dose of him tonight.
They will. And on the bottom of that pile was Paul Weatherly, one of the linebackers. Not a very big guy, but we talked about these linebackers a little bit during the break. They're not very big, but they're all over the place.
So a possession down for Washington County. They need 3 yards, need to get to the 45. From the shotgun, Brown will look to throw, tucks it, got the first down and more, near midfield, out of bounds. Shoved out by Will Huckabee, but not before our first down of the night.
Little run pass option there, Graham. Gave the pass look, but I believe that was probably a planned running play the entire time. They just wanted to stretch it toward the sideline and get the yardage for the first down, and they were successful doing that.
Brown, who wears number 15. He is a senior. In fact, Washington County with several seniors on their roster this year. 1st and 10 at the 49. Sweetwater jump, but not into the neutral zone. Baxter in the I. 2 wide out split, pitch right side. Holcomb. He will carry a tackler with him up across the 45 down to the 43. He'll get 9 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 1. And when you're a running football team, you love anything less than 5 yards on 2nd down.
Well, he gets going downhill quick right there, and he initiated the contact with the outside linebacker, Will Huckabee, right there, and got a couple extra yards after contact.
That's about what he's averaging per carry, 9 yards per carry for DeAnthony Holcomb, an all-state performer a year ago. And the belly play will net a first down. Forward progress will take him to about the 40-yard line. That should be enough for the first down. As another all-state performer, DeAndre Smith with a carry.
And there was Paul Weatherly again leading the charge on that tackle. You can tell already in this game, Sweetwater is a gang tackling team.
Did we have a flag on the other side, or are we just going to wait and get a measurement?
I think they're going to measure.
So we have a measurement coming up. Washington County, their first possession of the night. It's going to be very close, but not quite. It'll be 3rd and half a yard for a first down. These two coaches, Chris Wilson, very interesting story for him, and we'll talk more about it as the night goes on, but he is a Washington County graduate, played baseball and football at Washington County, and then played college ball in the Birmingham area at Montevallo, and eventually ended up on the staff at Vestavia Hears, where he got to coach with a couple of legends, Sammy Dunn in baseball and Buddy Anderson in football.
Two names in Alabama. If you know anything about Alabama baseball and football, those two names are going to come up quite often in the Hall of Fame of coaching.
Yeah, in fact, last week, Buddy Anderson became the all-time winningest coach in the state of Alabama. Congratulations to him. 3rd and a foot. Brown takes it himself, goes forward, and he'll get the first down. In fact, he might have gotten 2 yards on the play, so another first down for Washington County.
So far, the offensive line for Washington County, Graham, getting a good push off the ball, and they have started a pretty nice march down the field here.
And let me give you those offensive linemen. Darren Richardson is at right guard. Zachary Goldman is the center. Cameron Moss is the right tackle. Braden Jones at left guard. Josh Morris at left tackle. 1st and 10 at the 39. Just underway here in Sweetwater. Holcomb again. Very little running room this time. Looked like Kyle Patterson, number 56, came from his defensive end spot to bring him down. It'll be 2nd and long.
And a name we'll call quite a bit tonight, Graham, for Sweetwater. Deshaun Kilpatrick, the defensive tackle, was in on that stop as well. He'll play both ways. He's the strong tackle on offense, and he's all over the place for Sweetwater.
2nd and 8 in Sweetwater territory at the 38. Brown has 3 wideouts this time, a 1-back set. That is Holcomb. And that box is loaded with purple jerseys as the Bucks sweep. A big play, our first big one of the night. Darius Turner with a first down run.
Really nice job of cutting the ball up just at the right time that time for Washington County, and a big gain down inside the 20.
21 yards on the carry, 1st and 10 at the 15.
Really nice cut right there, about 5 or 6 yards into that run, netted him those extra yards down to the 15.
And you can see why, what we're talking about with a running game. Both of these teams, you'll see the same thing on the other side.
Absolutely.
When Sweetwater gets the football. 1st and 10. Holcomb got room to run, and he's inside the 5, close to the goal line. He got in. Touchdown, the Anthony Holcomb.
Graham, that was a really nice run right there. I think the first contact with him was about the 8-yard line. He shed that tackle, got down to about the 5, got hit a couple more times, but fought his way into the end zone. A really tough run for the big back there.
Our first points come with just under 8 minutes to play in the first quarter. And this is kind of the new thing. Everybody lines up off to the side. They will eventually move over the football, and now we get a timeout taken by Washington County. But a great start for Washington County. They take it about 60 yards for a score.
65 yards, I believe, because of the out-of-bounds penalty.
Yeah, 9 plays, 65 yards, under 4 minutes. A nice start for Washington County, who, by the way, these two teams are ranked in the 2A poll by the sports writers. Washington County at number 2. Sweetwater is number 5. Sweetwater is 2-1 coming in, but that loss did come outside of region play.
It did. It was the opening game of the year to Thomasville, a larger school. And since then, they've had a couple of wins over St. Luke's and Mobile Christian, so they've got the ship righted after that opening loss to Thomasville. And this is the biggest game of the year so far for these two squads.
And if you talk to people in this region, again, it's Region 1, Class 2A, and we're just about 100 miles southwest of Montgomery.
Yep.
Some great small school football we've talked about, Leroy, Thomasville, all of these teams
Jackson,
right in this area.
Not too far away. Yeah, you know, this is just great football down here. Great sports down here, period.
Yeah, they won a few baseball championships
they have
here at Sweetwater as well. Randall Coxwell will kick. Kevin Howard to hold. And it didn't get very high, but it went through the upright.
No, it did not.
No, it did not.
It actually sailed wide right.
So 6-0 Washington County. Sweetwater will have it their first time when we come back.
As your Alpha Insurance agent, I can help you customize a plan that'll save you money while still protecting your family.
Saving $10, $15, $20 a month makes a big difference for families.
We're able to give you
a better product for a better price with better service.
I try to give the customers the kind of service that I want myself.
That has value. You can't get that online.
We have a great product, a great claim service, and it's a real value buy.
For the best agents in the business, call Alpha.
Meet Pete and Paul. Twins so much alike, friends call them Pete and repeat. But Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Alabama treats them as individuals. Each gets a health insurance plan designed to meet his specific needs. One is a self-employed entrepreneur, the other working for a large company. After all, no two customers are alike, especially in Alabama. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Alabama. We cover what matters. Find out how we can cover you.
If you have AT&T UVerse, a weird thing can happen when you turn on your HD TVs. Your UVerse internet connection will slow down, interrupt you. Not with Charter. With Charter, you get internet speeds of 30 megabits per second, 5 times faster than AT&T UVerse. So no matter how many TVs are on, your internet will never do that. Hey, AT&T, if you sell internet and TV together, shouldn't they work together better than this?
Well, we are proud to have the Alabama Army National Guard as tonight's closed caption sponsor. Did you know that you can serve with the National Guard while you complete your college education and receive education benefits along the way? Learn more at www.nationalguard/al.com. Great drive for Washington County to start. They take a 6-0 lead. We'll see if that missed extra point, though, comes to play as this one continues, Mike.
You know, this wing T offense, I'm anxious to see it get underway here for Sweetwater. I'm anxious to see this. I love to watch a wing T team play, and they've done it for so long, and they're so polished at it. I'm excited about watching this. Washington County left nothing to be desired there. They did exactly what we thought they would, and the big back, Holcomb had 33 yards of the 65 in that drive. We expected that.
And I don't know if we could call it methodical, but it was a thing of beauty.
It was.
If you like, and I hate to call it old-style football, but we know everybody really likes to throw it around. As Donaldson kicks off at a flag, and that will cost Washington County 5 yards. So they'll kick it again. But this is the type of football you see a lot of times when you get into smaller classifications.
Well, it is, and there's a lot of reasons for that, but these spread offenses have to have a lot of personnel. And sometimes at these smaller schools, they don't have the numbers to run an offense like the spread because you have to run so many players in and out, and they have to run something that's much more efficient. And these type offenses are much more efficient at this level.
Yeah, Chris Wilson told me today, he said, we'll run the spread, but we don't run it like everybody else.
Right.
We will throw out of it. We will throw out of the eye. But when you got a guy like Holcomb out there carrying the football, you don't need to throw it very much.
That's right.
Let's try it again as Donaldson this time sends it downfield. It's dropped for a minute. Picked up, though, and very little running room for Jonah Smith. And Christina has a very special guest down on the sideline.
Yes, guys, I'm here with former head coach Stacy Luker. You have spent 12 years at this school, won several state championships. How do you prepare your guys when you face a rivalry like this?
Well, I mean, these kids here are pretty grounded, and, they've always approached all the big games the same as they would any other game. They're able to prepare, and, they recognize the atmosphere, and they usually settle down.
You, in the past 3 years, you said that you've graduated several seniors. So this team, the Sweetwater team, is young in playing experience.
Yeah, as far as experience goes. There's some seniors. I'm sorry.
From here, Christina. I know we warned her. as Keldrick Green goes 44 yards on the first play from scrimmage for Sweetwater. We'll kick it back down after this play. 1st and 10 at the 30 for Sweetwater, their first possession. Breslin Davis is the quarterback, and that'll net about a yard. All right, Christina, continue.
That was a close one, guys. We almost got taken out, but we're not playing the game tonight, are we?
No, we're not. We're not. Thank the Lord.
But you guys, you were saying about your young team, or this team is young after all the seniors that have graduated.
Yeah, as far as experience goes, there's some seniors that are playing for the first time and some juniors and, you know, really good football players. And, again, they understand the big game atmosphere and know how to play in it.
You kind of have a legacy here. How does it feel to be back and watch your old team?
It's fun. I mean, it's sort of weird, you know, being a fan, but it's good. I'll enjoy it.
All right, guys, back to you.
All right, and you saw the interception. An interception, and Washington County's got it back. Kevin Howard with the pick.
But Graham, you're going to look here. You're going to see the pressure come up the middle. I still didn't see the number, but somebody got great pressure on quarterback Branson Davis right there. Hit him right as he threw, and that throw was short, and it was picked off.
I think that might have been Cameron Moss, who was pressuring quarterback Davis to force the turnover. First turnover of the night for either team, and Washington County back in business. We thank Stacy Luker. We could sit here and talk all night about him and
absolutely.
His legacy here at Sweetwater. Of course, it started as a player. He was part of a championship team as a player, and he continued as a head coach. Here comes Holcomb. He's got running room. Across midfield, nothing but green in front of him. Can anybody catch him? Touchdown! No flags.
Graham, just the old toss sweep there. Student body right, and he got the corner and turned on the Jets, and nobody was going to catch him.
66 yards, and Washington County is up 12-0 with the extra point pending.
And I believe, if I'm correct in my math here, Holcomb already has 99 yards in this ball game.
Most of it by this guy. Not much of a juke. He just kind of left the guy in his tracks.
Just made one cut to the outside, got the sideline, and then used his speed the rest of the way.
That was R.J. Rogers that he ran by, and R.J. Rogers is not slow.
Not at all.
We do have a penalty, another one on the extra point try, so we'll see if Washington County tries to go for two.
They are lined up to go for two this time, Graham, so trying to get that point back from the missed extra point on the first touchdown.
So we'll see what they have now. They got to go 5 yards further. Ball at the 8-yard line on this extra point try. Wow. Well, we had an idea what Holcomb could do, and All-State performer last year. I think we've already got our answer.
Oh, absolutely. And he's got great size for a guy with his speed, and you know he looks good running the football. He's definitely going to play somewhere in the future on Saturdays.
6'1", 185. And they'll try the handoff, and that doesn't work. Keyshawn Abston with a point after try. So 12-0 with just over 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter. But Washington County has come out with reckless abandon.
They have, and you know, and they're not doing anything that Sweetwater didn't know they were going to do. And that's the beauty of these offenses on both sides of the ball. Both teams know what the other's going to do. Both of them are very familiar with each other. And it's just, here's what we're going to do, you stop it. And so far, there hasn't been a lot of stopping really on either side of the ball. You know, they did have the interception there, but as far as the regular offense goes, neither team has really proven they can stop it yet.
Yeah, the turnover was in the plus side of the 50 for Sweetwater. Of course, that was set up by a nice run by Jenkins, but I think Sweetwater knows they take care of the football, and same is true with Washington County. Yeah. Take care of the football, you give yourself a chance. So Donaldson will kick. Riddick is deep for Sweetwater. Low kick that'll come down at the 25. Smith gets it across the 30 to about the 31, basically where they started the last possession.
I think Jonas Smith's probably saying, why don't they pick on somebody else? He hadn't had a lot of room either time he's caught the kick.
Ball marked at the 32, 1st and 10, Sweetwater. 9 championships this program has won, all of them in 1A, which I find interesting.
Right.
They have been in line for a couple of 2A titles, couldn't quite get it done, but nobody around here is complaining.
You know, the last 2 years they've lost in the semifinals, so it's to this team. So a lot of success here.
1st and 10, coming near side, and about 2, maybe 3 yards. That was Eric Jenkins, and take your pick. I believe he was hit first by Kevin Howard. We'll call it a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Well, Graham, on the first series, you know, they started the game with a carry by fullback Kildrick Green, and it was a big play for Sweetwater. I'm anxious to see Eric Jenkins get an open field because I hear he's a big play threat anytime he touches the ball. I'm anxious to see him get an open field and get going downhill.
All resting at the 33. And there's kind of what you're talking about. Green broke a couple of tackles and had a plus gain of about 5 yards. So it'll be 3rd, we'll call it 4.
And Coach Thompson told me that Kildrick Green was a power type back, a tough runner. He's not afraid to stick his head in and get the tough yardage. And he proved that right there. He had plenty of contact on that play and still gained good positive yardage.
Sweetwater needs the 42. Clock is running. Just over 5 minutes to play, 1st quarter. 12-0 Washington County. Davis to throw. Throws it deep. He's got a man down there, complete. Out of bounds. At about the 20-yard line, Desmond Reddick. Play good for 48 yards.
And the funny thing, Graham, is that Coach Thompson told me, he said, don't be surprised if you see us in the gun a couple of times tomorrow night. And lo and behold, they get in the gun and they throw a nice long pass play and get themselves right in business inside the 25.
Well, we mentioned it at the top of the broadcast, 8, 9, 10 men in the box. You got to try to throw over it, and that's what Sweetwater did there. 1st and 10 at the 23. And run of about a yard. I believe that was Green, or was that Jenkins?
That was Jenkins.
That was Jenkins. So you get a yard, 2nd and 9. But you see, you know, you talk about, yeah, both of these teams are going to run the football pound, 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 but that's what happens if you don't pay attention to your backside.
They're also going to keep you honest, and they can throw the ball well enough on both sides to keep the defense honest.
2nd and 8. You got 2 wing backs to the left side this time. Trying to string it outside, nowhere to go. Jenkins, and I believe he was hit by 21, Daher Kinsey.
I think the first guy that got contact with him was number 12, Michael Hicks right there, who came flying up and was in the backfield before Jenkins could really get started.
Strung out that play quite well, a loss of 4 on the play. And now a 3rd and 13 possession down for Sweetwater. Under most circumstances, this is a passing down, but not necessarily for this team. They do split 2 to the left side. Backs are split. Davis rolling, throws it the other way, and over the head of Will Huckabee. I don't know how much room he had to run, but.
Well, I'm going to tell you, Graham, a well-designed play right there. It was a little throwback screen. He had 2 blockers in front of him. If they can get the ball in his hands, that might be a huge play for Sweetwater.
He had blockers out there. There were a couple of defenders as well. And so now a 4th and 13. Ball at the 26. They will go for it. This time, 2 wideouts near side, 1 to the right. Green in the backfield with Davis. And I believe we're going to get a timeout taken by Sweetwater. So a timeout for head coach Pat Thompson. I don't know that this is a vital play in this game just yet. A little early for that, but you don't want to make too big of a mistake here. It is a possession down if you don't get the first down, but you don't want to give up a turnover, give up something big, and give up your field position.
Oh, absolutely. You want to try to keep the field flipped right here. You don't want to give Washington County any chance to have a big play and get upfield. And Sweetwater still trying to get their offense untracked a little bit as far as the running game goes. They've had a couple of good running plays, but nothing like usual for the Sweetwater Bulldogs.
So head coach Pat Thompson and his staff coming up with something here. Davis has already completed a big pass and set him up in this position. In fact, 2 big plays right now, the gist of Sweetwater's offense.
They are. A big running play the first possession and the big throwing play that got him in this position on this drive.
7th play of this drive. They need about the 14, maybe just beyond it. Davis will throw. Deep drop, looking in zone, and knocked down. And a smart play by the defender. As that one, if he's intercepts it, he gives up field position. Instead, it is knocked down. We've got a timeout on the field. Washington County leads it 12-0. We'll be back.
Hello, I'm Gene Solings.
And I'm Pat Dye.
You know, anytime you can get outdoors in Alabama and enjoy a day like this, it just makes you proud to be an American.
And speaking of being thankful, there's a program right here in Alabama called Forever Wild Land Trust that helps secure our public lands. So everybody has a place to go and get outdoors. Hey, don't just be proud of Alabama.
Get out and enjoy it. Forever Wild Land Trust.
At Baumhauer's, we're all about great sports, legendary food, and Southern pride. That's why we're serving up all your Southern favorites, like our tangy grilled fish salad, hot Bama Brown, and our famous wings. And it wouldn't be the South if it didn't have a little kick, like a homemade gumbo and wild Gulf shrimp and grits. And don't forget our mouthwatering desserts like Bama Nana Pudding or strawberry shortcake. So call the gang and put a little South in your mouth.
Out of 89 Renaissance hotels in North America, the spa at the Renaissance Hotel in Montgomery was ranked #1 as of August 2014. Out of 358 Marriott hotels, the spa at the Marriott Shoals was ranked #1. 3 other spas on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail also rank in the top 7. Clearly, world-class golf and the best spas for 2014 are in Sweet Home, Alabama. Call 800 Marriott to find out more.
2014 marks the 75th year our state parks have served the people of Alabama. During the
12-0 our score. Washington County with the lead. They just made a stop on 4th down. A nice play by the secondary, and now they get it back here. Try to do some more damage. They start from the 26. And guess who gets it? Mr. Holcomb with about 5 yards on the play. And I have a feeling you'll see a steady dose of this young man.
Oh, I'm sure.
At least in the first half.
Especially with a 2-touchdown lead right now, they're probably very content to do what they do, put the ball in his hands, and try to gain more control of this game and run clock.
You'll also see Keyshawn Abston with carries. He has 250 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns, which is actually 1 more, or it was coming in. They're tied now after, actually, let me back up. Holcomb has 2 tonight. And a keeper by the quarterback, and Brown gets a couple. It'll be 3rd and 3.
Sweetwater brought both the inside backers on that play, Graham, and it almost turned into a big play for Washington County as they got by the first line of blitz right there. But a good tackle on the outside, good contain on the outside kept that from being a big play.
3rd and 4 to 33. Backs in the eye. Pitch to Holcomb. He's got plenty of running room. 1st down and more. Slides out of bounds at the 48. Another big play, 15 yards, another Washington County 1st down. And tell you what, Sweetwater's got to figure out a way to put a plug in this. They're going to stay in it. 6 first downs already here in this first quarter. We still got about 2 minutes left.
And I know from being on the sideline in a game like this, those defensive coaches are trying as best they can to make some kind of adjustment that works. They're looking for the combination that works right here.
They got pretty much everybody in the box. The handoff, and that time it worked.
That works pretty well.
There's Abston, his first carry from scrimmage, and he got a yard, if that. I believe 62 hit him first.
That's Deshaun Kilpatrick, the big defensive tackle, and Paul Weatherly was there again. One of those not so big linebackers, but they are active and they are all over the field.
Officially no gain on the play, 2nd and 10. Ball at the 48. Pitch. Absent again. He is caught in the backfield going down. A couple of purple people eaters, can we call them that?
That play went nowhere as the entire left side of the Sweetwater defense was in the backfield, led by Jalen Johnson, the nose guard.
You don't see a nose guard wearing number 23 very often, and you don't see one that's, what is he, about 5'8", maybe?
Yep.
180 pounds. But he's pretty quick, as he showed it there.
A lot different than the nose guards we've seen the previous 3 games we've done, isn't it?
Absolutely. 3rd and 14. We're under a minute to play. Pass over the middle, wide open. It's a foot race. Nobody is going to catch the receiver. DeAndre Smith, 56 yards, touchdown, Washington County.
Well, on that play, Graham, I believe the safeties from Sweetwater left the middle of the field, and it was wide open. And he just ran down the middle seam, and the quarterback hit him perfectly, and there was nobody there.
So the extra point try, will they go for 2 again, or will they try to kick it? Looks like they will attempt the kick. Coxwell lines up. Wow, what impressive start for Washington County. 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns. That kick, again, it's low, and this one does go through the uprights. So 29 seconds are left in quarter number 1, and Washington County is really off to a great start.
Watch how open the middle of the field is here. When Quentin Smith catches that ball, he turns around, and there's nobody there. All he's got to do is get to the goal line.
Yep, Smith with a big touchdown catch. Oh, by the way, he also leads the team in tackles coming into tonight, so you'll hear his name a lot on the other side. He's another one of those all-state performers from a year ago. Again, Washington County, back-to-back trips to the Super 6, back-to-back losses to Tanner.
Right.
And they would love to get back, and I'm not sure if Tanner's still in 2A, but I imagine if they are, we might see them there again.
Well, they'd love to get another shot at that title. You know, the funny thing about it, you know, we've talked about these 2 teams, especially the last 2 years. In the regular season, Sweetwater has defeated Washington County both of the last 2 years in the regular season. But when it really counted, down in the semifinals of the playoffs, they came back around to face each other each of the last 2 years, and Washington County's been able to pull out the win, go to the Super 6.
You could say the one that counts, but they all count. Worm burner picked up at the 20.
Little room over here.
Near side. There is some running room. If Jenkins can get loose, but he can't, he'll be brought down at the 30-yard line. 1st and 10, Sweetwater.
Keyshawn Abston made probably a big play-saving tackle right there, as he had enough speed to get a hold of Eric Jenkins before he got to the sideline.
So your head coach, Pat Thompson, you got to keep your team calm. First of all, the game, we're just getting started. We're not even out of the first quarter yet. Yes, it looks a little daunting at this point, but it's not out of reach.
Well, you and I talked a little bit about this on the way down here today. Sometimes a coach has just got to stick his head in there and say, hey, guys, we can do this. We're okay. Just get everything back going, and we're going to be fine.
But the defensive pursuit right now for Washington County causing some problems. Green lost a couple there, and that may be the last play of the first quarter. We do have an injured player on the ground. And I believe that's the young man who made the tackle, Braxton Kinsey, still on the ground. Kinsey, a defensive end, senior.
Looks like he's probably got a little shoulder problem.
So they'll tend to him on the field. This region is, you could say it's stacked. I mean, you look at the names of these teams right now, there's basically a four-way tie for first place.
Right.
That obviously one of those teams will be out after this game tonight. But I mean, Leroy, Washington County, Southern Choctaw, Sweetwater. You talk about murderer's row.
Oh man, you know, Leroy, a tough team, state championships. Sweetwater, those state championships. My goodness.
And one of those two teams in that grouping will have their first loss tonight. And we'll see how this all plays out. Of course, 4 teams from each region will go to the playoffs. And I'm not going to make any predictions necessarily, but maybe you might see these 4 come postseason. We've come to the end of the first quarter. A good one for Washington County, 19-0. We'll be back to Sweetwater in a moment.
This is Jack Ingram Nissan's Big Zero event. 0 down, 0% financing, 0 payments till next year. Versa 10,888 or $119 a month. Big Zero event at Jack Ingram Nissan. Absolutely 0 down, 0 financing, 0 payments till 2015. 10,888 Versa or $119 a month. Eastern Bypass, Montgomery. Don't buy a new car till you get a Jack Ingram price. JackIngramNissan.net.
Children's of Alabama has been taking care of kids across our state for over 100 years. The opening of the Benjamin Russell Hospital for Children allows even more patient care. It leads the country in technology and innovation, including 17 state-of-the-art operating rooms, an expanded imaging center, and the Bruno Pediatric Heart Center, just to name a few. Children provides the highest level of care in a loving, comforting environment. I hope that you or anyone in your family never needs to be a patient, but if they do, Children's is here for you.
Hard work, determination, teamwork. It can mean the difference between winning and losing. These are values that I teach my sons and players on the football field, and they are values we believe in at Wedemark and Keith. If you have been hurt, put my firm's hard work, determination, and legal team to work for you.
Wedemark Keith, because your case matters. Call 800-309-0500.
What is it about UWA? Is it the beauty of her campus? The feeling of being just the right size? World class, without classes big enough for the world? Is it the warmth of her people? They say there's something about this place. Maybe it's because this place feels like home. On campus or online, the University of West Alabama.
Did you know that distracted driving is now the leading cause of all car crashes? One text or call can wreck it all, so keep your eyes on the road. Don't text and drive. Message from the Alabama Department of Transportation. Drive safe, Alabama.
Trying to get around the right side.
1st and 10, Keldrick Green, or excuse me, let me make that Eric Jenkins with the first carry of the possession. All right, Coach, you gotta come up with something here. At least sustain a couple of minutes in a drive, and it'd be even better if you put some points on the board.
Exactly. You know, just like we were talking about on the defensive side of the ball, the offensive coaches are really trying to adjust and trying to come up with some way to have some success right here. They're trying to get Eric Jenkins into the open field, and right now they can't get him out of a crowd.
Davis has had a little bit of success throwing the football. Looks like he's trying to set up something and can't get away. I believe that is 55. Cameron Moss, the All-State defensive tackle, with a sack, a loss of about 10 on the play.
Well, Moss was back there quick, and Davis just couldn't get away from him, and he got a handful of jersey and snatched him down right there. Big play by the defensive tackle.
Play actually loses 8 yards. Either way, it's 4th and long for Sweetwater, and they're going to have to punt.
Jonah Smith is the punter.
He is just a freshman. He is 6'1", 155 pounds. High snap. He will get it away. Some pressure put on him. Low line kick. That'll roll across the 50 and be down at about the 47-yard line. Well, Washington County will have it 1st and 10.
Well, that very nearly hit one of the upbacks for Washington County, who had his back to the football right there. I thought we were going to have one of those turnovers. I think we had one of those in last week's game.
You know, I've seen that happen 3 times in the last week.
Yep.
1 in high school, 2 in college. We saw it in the Alabama game last week. Saw it in another game. It might have even been an NFL game. But you got to have somebody back there. Whoever's returning the football is supposed to be hollering fire or get out of the way or something.
Peter is a call that we used a lot in high school.
I have no idea why you use that term.
Me either. You know, it's just a name. I don't know where it came from, but
why
it's
not
synonymous
George?
all over the place.
Yeah, George Thomas Holcomb on the far sideline gets 9 out of bounds. He was knocked out of bounds. I believe that was 23. Jalen Johnson, also Desmond Reddick over there for the stop. They'll say he stepped out actually at the 46.
Well, I tell you, Graham, Holcomb is an impressive back. He doesn't need a lot of room to get going and get full speed, and he doesn't need a lot of room to make a cut that gets him into daylight.
2nd and 3. Washington County trying to build on a 19-0 lead. They're going to keep giving it to this guy, and he's got a 1st down, carrying tacklers with him across the 35 for another 1st down. And I believe tackle made. We're going to give that to 22, Markel Evans, but not before a big gainer, 13 yards.
Well, you can't say enough about the job the offensive line for Washington County is doing, Graham. They're blowing holes. They're sealing the outside. They're making the blocks. And I will tell you, this is no slouch of a defensive line for Sweetwater, but they're not the biggest defense that you'll see. And this offensive line doing a great job.
Well, one of the things you would expect when you don't have a lot of size is your lateral ability, and there's a play in the backfield as Brown goes down. Let's see what Christina's got going on down on the field.
Well, guys, number 17, Braxton Kinsey, the one who is injured on that play, he is out of the game right now. The trainers are trying to get his pads off. It seems like his shoulder is bothering him. They're going to take his pads off, see if they can get some movement going on in that shoulder. But for right now, he's out of the game, not unless he feels better and wants to go back in.
All right, Christina, thank you. Well, it's not all good news for Washington County. They just lost their starting tight end and a defensive end with that injury. 2nd and long. Brown out of bounds. Or actually, he didn't get out of bounds. He was brought down, but a decent run to about the 35.
Tyler Eccles with the tackle over there, but that was a broken play, Graham, as the quarterback for Washington County moved to his right to hand the ball off, and there was nobody there to hand it to. So he had to kind of make do on his own, and Tyler Eccles was there to bring him down for a loss.
I just thought that was a newfangled play they're running these days. I wasn't sure. Had me faked off, I can tell you that. 3rd and 12. Ball at the 35. 19-0 Washington County. Pass in the flat complete, but not enough for a 1st down. That was number 11, Darius Turner, with a reception, but he was greeted rudely by Markel Evans and Desmond Reddick. So now you go for it on 4th down. You figure 4th and about 2.
Let's see, who do you think might get the ball here?
Gee, I don't know. Maybe that guy with the 2 on his back. Right now he's got an S on the front. Anthony Holcomb. I believe our statistician Ken gave us a number just a little while ago. 7+ rushes, now over 10 yards.
6 of their 16 plays going into this drive had gone for 10+ yards. They had 206 yards of offense in the 1st quarter.
And they had a couple on this drive, so you can add 2 more to that.
Add 2 more to that.
Timeout taken on the field. And it comes with 6:59. We'll take it with them. Back to Sweetwater in a moment.
I am Deborah Mitchell, a registered nurse and an attorney. At Grossman Law Firm, we practice Social Security, disability law, and only Inouye Social Security Disability Law. We have the medical and legal expertise to help you win your claim. Give us a call today and let us help you.
Relax, Carlos. With McDonald's, you can afford to win them both over.
Right now, you choose any 2 Big Mac sandwich, Filet-O-Fish sandwich, or 10-piece chicken McNuggets for only $5.
The warrior spirit, it's in there. Always has been. Now let it out and take the world by fire. Train well and learn what it means to be a Troy Trojan. Walk with confidence. Conquer. Claim territory and climb ladders. Discover your inner warrior.
Succeed in business with a degree from Troy University. For details, visit troy.edu/spirit.
I am Deborah Mitchell, a registered nurse and an attorney. At Grossman Law Firm, we practice Social Security Disability Law and only Social Security Disability Law. We have the medical and legal expertise to help you win your claim. Give us a call today and let us help you.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Welcome back to Sweetwater. 19-0. 7 minutes and change remaining here in the first half. And it looks like Washington County will go for it here on 4th and about 3. Eye back set, and somebody moved early. Looks like the left tackle got a little antsy. I believe that might be Josh Morris. So that'll cost them 5. And I don't think it'll change anything. They'll probably still go for it, but now you got 5 more yards to get.
I think they will. And, you know, that play was designed right there to get Sweetwater offside and get an easy first down. And like you said, the left tackle was a little antsy right there, trying to get going before the defense, now forgetting that he wasn't supposed to move.
Back in the day, you'd say he didn't get the message. Now you say he didn't get the text. There's a wide open receiver over the middle, touchdown. How many? Second time, I think, tonight. That is Austin Kinsey with a touchdown catch, 30 yards.
And once again, Graham, the middle of the field was just wide open right there. And I know what they're doing. They're stacking receivers on the outside, and then they're running an inside guy down that middle seam, and it's just confusing the defensive backfield of Sweetwater right now, and they've been wide open twice.
So another touchdown pass. This one from 30 yards out. It comes with 6:53 left to play in the first half. Coxwell to try the extra point, and we get a flag, and somebody was offsides. So let's watch the touchdown again. This is on 4th and what, 7?
4th and 7. And you see they're running those outside receivers down the sideline routes, and then that tight end or wing back or H-back, whatever, is going right down that middle seam, and there's nobody there to pick him up because on most of these plays, they're bringing linebackers, so there's no linebacker in the middle of the field, and they're just catching them in a perfect defense for that play to be wide open.
And I know he didn't touch the ball at all on that play, but DeAnthony Holcomb's a big reason because you're having to pinch the outside in order to keep him hemmed in. The extra point is good. 6:53 and a 26-0 lead for Washington County. I'm just going to say it. I did not expect this.
Well, I don't think if you told anybody that one team or the other would be up like this in this ball game, they probably would have laughed at you and said, yeah, you're crazy. You don't know the history between these two and how the games have been. And, you know, it's just one of those things where right now Coach Pat Thompson is trying to keep this from snowballing any worse. He's trying to keep his team's their eyes focused, their heads in the game, and get something positive going. If they can do that, they can get right back in this ball game, but they really need to do something positive.
Well, Chris Wilson told me before the game today, he said, we've had some strange games in as far as having a lot of scoring in one game, not so much in another. He said, you really can't read what's going to happen based on previous games, and this is the 5th meeting in 3 years, as we've already talked about. So I think you can also say that you may not be sitting on a 26-point lead either.
Right.
Sweetwater's quite capable of doing something about it. Another pooch kick and taken to the ground near the 36-yard line. Keldrick Green will set up Sweetwater 1st and 10.
That was a smart play by Keldrick Green over there. He just got the ball and fell on it and gives Sweetwater good field position at the 37-yard line. And maybe they can get some room here to do something on offense. They've got to start getting some positive plays on the offensive side of the ball, other than those pass plays or those sporadic plays here and there. They need to get something sustained going.
Of course, Washington County's been bringing the heat and getting in the backfield a lot since that first possession for Sweetwater. Quick handoff, nothing up the middle. Eric Jenkins was hit first, I believe, by Howard. Actually, we'll give that to Curtis Anderson on the stop. No gain, 2nd and 10.
And Jenkins has got to feel like he's in a lake of white shirts, because every time he touches the football, he seems like he's got 3 or 4 around him, and he just can't get any room to do anything.
You know, coaches like to spy on a player. They will let one guy follow the lead guy, and in this case, you might have that with a situation with Jenkins. Keldrick Green will try the near side, and he has no place to go. Kevin Howard was there first. He had help from Corey Donaldson. Also, Derek Kinsey over there for the stop, a loss of a yard. It'll be 3rd and 11. And this is what you don't want. You're down 26-0. And now your lateral runs are not doing much either.
Well, you know, and I was just going to make the point, Graham. We've seen some pretty good defensive teams so far this season in the games that we've done, some bigger schools. I do not think we've seen a team that runs to the football like this Washington County team does.
9 of 14 of Sweetwater's plays, 0 yards or less. That won't win you many ball games. Jenkins again, short gain again. They might have gotten a couple. DeAndre Smith there for the stop, and it is a punting situation. But Mike, you're falling behind here by 26. I don't think they'll go for it, but
I agree with you. In this area of the field, I don't think they can afford to go for it right now, and they're going to have to punt the football. But it's definitely not what they wanted to do.
They do send in the punter. Kick this time much better. Fair catch by Taekwon Scruggs.
Ball's going to be
and we'll have a timeout. 4:42 left. It's all Washington County here in the first half.
Two-thirds of drivers who died in car crashes chose to ignore this warning. Seatbelts save lives. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
If you're involved in a car crash where a driver's been drinking,
you're 4 times more likely to die.
More people die when it's DUI.
A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Derek, what's with the scrubs? Shh.
She's going for it. It's gonna work. She's going for the burger.
Stand back, everyone. I'm a doctor. Look, I got it. I'm a doctor. I got it.
Jack, Jack, Jack for more, more, more.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That changed my life.
At that moment, it hit me. This is why I joined the Guard. We're soldiers, always ready to protect our country. But we've also got communities. Family, friends, neighbors who count on us. I couldn't believe it. I just saved a life to somebody from my hometown.
See what it means to be a citizen soldier at NationalGuard.com.
This week we're looking back through the pages of history. Old French forts, old Spanish cannons, and a Mobile neighborhood coming back to life. We'll also swing open the vault and visit a man who's bringing old windmills back to life. And from swinging windmills to swinging your partner, relive a page of Huntsville history. plus a visit with a modern-day man named Cotton. Take a ride through the Marshall County countryside, a ride that's absolutely Alabama.
26-0 Washington County. I don't want to say it's been a commanding game, but it really has so far.
It really has. It's, you know, Washington County's been dominant so far, and Sweetwater's just looking for some answers right now, and hopefully they can find some.
They'll run the buck sweep, far side. And Corey Donaldson still running. Reverses field. He won't get much, but it was still fun to watch.
He ran about 40 yards and ended up gaining maybe 2 on that play.
Could be. I tell you what, let's go down and see what Christina has for us.
While the Sweetwater football team is setting records and have in previous years, there's a place nearby that is also setting records. I'm here with Mickey Luker with Cooper State Park. Tell us what kind of records you're setting.
Well, we've got a couple. We've had plenty of alligators come through that park. We're the actual host park as far as bringing the gators in, weighing them. The Fancher gator came through. It was 800 pounds. We actually, it came through there. And then here, this past August, we had another one. The Stokes gator came through. It was a little over 1,000 pounds. So, you come to our park, you may catch a gator, who knows?
And these gators, may I mention, carried the state record and world record at that. Guys?
All right, Christina, thank you. I don't guess there's any Florida gators.
I don't think so. I don't think they're any of those, but that's some big alligators.
Big alligators. Wow. You don't want to tackle them. You saw Holcomb with a big run on first down. He'll get it again and get close to the 40. He'll gain about 7 or 8. Look like 22 hit him first. That is Markel Evans. So a second, and we'll call it 5 from about the 42. Clock is moving. 3:15 and counting. Brown has been in shotgun all night. He will look to throw. He's had a good night throwing the football, but that time just over the head of Darius Turner. It'll be 3rd, and we'll call it 4.
Sweetwater's a little thankful right there. They get a little breather after that incomplete pass. They're trying everything they can to find some kind of combination to stop this Bulldog offense.
Well, and it just seemed like whenever Washington County needs something, guess who gets the football? This time, though, Sweetwater is up to the task. Holcomb will not get the first down as they unpile. I'll tell you who made the tackle. Looks like it was 56. That is Kyle Patterson. So 4th and, we'll call it 2. Ball at the 40.
Well, Holcomb won't be getting the ball on this play because he's going to the sideline right now to get a breather, so we'll see what they do here.
They do bring in Abston, the backup. He's already got a couple of big runs tonight. They do stack a couple of receivers near side. On 4th and 3, they'll throw it over the middle again. Same play, same result. It'll be a first down instead of a touchdown this time, though, as Kinsey with a catch. And again, the safety was nowhere near the play.
Well, again, Graham, because of the rushing attack of Washington County, the linebackers are playing near the line of scrimmage, 31 yards on that play. They're playing near the line of scrimmage, and the safeties are being split by the outside receivers, and the middle of the field is just wide open. And there's got to be an adjustment made at some point to try to defend that.
Look at it again, and really, I mean, you could have played the last play that we saw on 4th down. Same thing happened with the one exception being a touchdown, but Pat Thompson, I was watching him on the sideline over here, frustration. And I don't know if maybe somebody was out of position on that play. You know, the last time it happened, he had his defense over. He said, they're going to run this play again. This is what you got to do, and they didn't do it.
I want to give a little credit to Paul Weatherly there. He's one of the inside linebackers, and he's up near the line of scrimmage. He's the guy that made the tackle on that play. He chased it down from behind and got back there and made the tackle. So you got to credit him with some hustle and keeping them out of the end zone right there. But they're going to have to come up with some kind of solution.
Well, before I get back to action, a reminder that did you know distracted driving is now the leading cause of all car crashes One text or call can wreck it all. So keep your eyes on the road. Don't text and drive. A message from the Alabama Department of Transportation reminding you, drive safe, Alabama. 2:08 left. We're in the first half. It has been dominated by the white jersey Bulldogs, Washington County. And they're knocking on the door again. First and goal at the 9. Play action, rolling left. Brown dives, touchdown. 9 yards, and Bailey Brown gets on the scoreboard.
Well, again, Graham, they ran that play earlier in the ball game to get a first down with short yardage. And it starts out as if it's going to be a pass play, a run-pass option, and the quarterback just ends up keeping the ball and stretching it, and finally got himself into the end zone right there.
Yeah, and again, the end pinched in, playing the pitch, or playing the handoff, I should say, that never came, and 32-0 now. Point after coming up. And now a flag. That's about the only thing wrong that Washington County's done tonight. They've been offsides about 3 times, and I think 2 of them are on point after attempts.
Right.
They got to go to school Friday. You think they'll have to run the steps for that? I don't know. Special teams coach.
I think it might depend on how the rest of this game goes. You know, if they continue to play pretty well and have a lot of success, might overlook it this week.
Yeah, we got a little ways to go, but so 32-0. We're under 2 minutes here in the first half. This one is blocked. No good. So the score stays the same, and let's check in with Christina again.
Guys, Braxton Kinsey, who was injured earlier in the second quarter, I talked to the athletic trainers. He has officially left the game, and his family took him to the hospital. The trainers did not comment on his exact injury, but I do know that his shoulder, he was rubbing it, putting ice on it, and trying to get his pads off earlier in the second quarter. Guys.
All right, Christina, then you're going to have those happen. You hate it if you're Washington County in a situation like this, but that's the way it goes.
It's a painful injury too, and it's good that they're taking him, getting him checked out. Hopefully it's not going to be anything that's going to keep him out of action very long, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
What was that number again you just showed me? I think 600 yards. As I check with our statistician, excuse me, not quite that many, 333 yards. It seems like 600 at this point. It's been that kind of a game. Kicking off again. That one goes through the legs of Green and picked up by Jenkins. He's trying to get loose. He gets a block, but not enough. He'll be down at the 30. And Sweetwater has it back with under 2 minutes to play here in the first half.
And Graham, for the first time tonight, Mr. Jenkins had a little bit of daylight right there, and somebody grabbed his sleeve and wouldn't let go.
Tackled by number 12.
But how quickly the pursuit was for Washington County.
24, William Schemberger.
So Sweetwater's got
First and 10, Sweetwater.
a little less than 2 minutes. Can they put something on the board and try to stop the bleeding? Davis, handoff, Green, very little, if anything, and he gets pushed backward, but they will give him forward progress for about 2 yards.
And you can see how tough a runner Keldrick Green is. He ran that thing up there and ran into a wall, but kept his feet moving, didn't go down, and got a couple of yards out of that. And that's just exactly what Coach Pat Thompson said, that he was that kind of runner. Didn't mind sticking his face in there, getting those tough yards.
By number 78.
But they need some easy yards.
Well, they're going to need more than that on first down, I can tell you. And that's been a problem. We talked about running teams needing, I'll dare say, 5 or more yards on first down. And they have not gotten that, at least not since that first possession. 2nd and 7. Jenkins got about 5.
Number 21,
He was hit first by Cameron Moss.
A much better play that time, and a good push by the offensive line for Sweetwater to open a hole, and Jenkins went ahead for about 5 yards there, so a good positive play. Now they need a first down. I guess they can take baby steps right now and
You're right.
And use any kind of success as a building block.
Yeah, you're under a minute at this point. Quite frankly, you don't want to have to punt. At least keep possession, and that might be a positive in itself. They are 1 of 4 on 3rd downs. And on a lot of those, they've gone the wrong way. Here comes Green. 1st down and brought down after a gain of about 5 yards. They'll stop the clock. I don't know how much of a hurry they're going to be in here, though. They've still got a good distance to go.
And, you know, with some of the difficulty they've had getting a pass off on a couple of plays, I don't know if they would risk throwing a pass here. They've had 1 intercepted. They've had a couple of sacks. So I'm not sure they'd risk anything right here. Just might be content to let the clock go on out.
And this should be the last play. And it will be. Nothing doing at all. That pretty much puts an exclamation point on this one. Washington County doing it on both sides of the ball. Dominant offensively, dominant defensively, and that's why you've got a 32-0 lead as we go to the break. We'll pitch it to Christina here at halftime. Actually, let's go to her right now.
Guys, we're trying to find the coach right now. Hold on 1 second as they pull off, try to run off the field really quick. All right, guys, we'll be back in just a minute.
Do you want to know why Long Lewis sells more Fords than anyone in Central Alabama? It must be the price. So we clearly mark every vehicle with your best price right up front. There you go, plain and simple. I'm Jeff Cook from Alabama for Long Lewis Ford Lincoln, Highway 150 in Hoover.
Everyone from Huntsville knows that if you've been hurt in a car wreck, you call my attorney, Alexander Shannara.
You know who to call if you've been in an auto accident. Your attorney, Alexander Shannara.
In Athens, we all know that if you've been in a car wreck, you call Alexander Shannara.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, you know who to call. Call me, Alexander Shannara. Remember, Huntsville, I am your attorney.
You know who to call. Your attorney, Alexander Shannara.
Meet Pete and Paul. Twins so much alike, friends call them Pete and repeat. But Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Alabama treats them as individuals. Each gets a health insurance plan designed to meet his specific needs. One is a self-employed entrepreneur, the other working for a large company. After all, no two customers are alike, especially in Alabama. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Alabama. We cover what matters. Find out how we can cover you.
2014 marks the 75th year our state parks have served the people of Alabama. During this diamond anniversary, you'll discover special events to celebrate this milestone. Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Whether you like camping under the stars or staying at a resort lodge, the Alabama State Parks specialize in amazing family adventures. Let's make this the best year yet. We depend on our partners, and just like these folks here, you can be a partner too by supporting our state parks.
Visit a park today!
Hi, I'm Jeff Cook from Alabama. Did you know that Long Lewis has won more awards for customer satisfaction than any Ford dealer in the nation? Now that's a Dixieland delight. Long Lewis Ford Lincoln on Highway 150 in Hoover.
All right, Coach, 32-0 going into the half. How have you been dominant so far this first half?
I just think we've controlled the line of scrimmage, on both sides of the ball. Something that we really haven't done against Sweetwater in a couple of years. I think that kind of tells the tale of us, moving the ball and not giving up any points.
What worries you about the second half?
Just keeping up the intensity. Anytime you get a lead like this, people have a tendency to relax and things like that. And I know Sweetwater never quits, and they're going to come back and play hard. So our guys just have to keep up their intensity level and play hard for a full game.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half. All right, guys, we have a lot coming up in this halftime show. We'll have some bands, we have some interesting interviews, and some facts about how Sweetwater got its name.
Lifestyle. Any exercise comes with the risk of getting hurt. Don't let an injury get between you and the activities you love. Let Alabama Orthopedic, Spine, and Sports Medicine Associates be the team that's working together to get you better.
Hi, I'm Dr. Gregory Galan. Back and neck injuries occur on and off the field. If you're injured, come see us. We'll get your back in the game.
Let our team help you recover your lifestyle. Call or visit AOSSMA online today.
The warrior spirit, it's in there. Always has been. Now let it out and take the world by fire. Train well and learn what it means to be a Troy Trojan. Walk with confidence. Conquer. Claim territory and climb ladders. Discover your inner warrior. Find success in teaching others with an education degree from Troy University. For details, visit troy.edu/spirit.
I'm Diane Bentley, Alabama's First Lady. Over 15 million children are exposed to domestic violence each year, and 10% of high school students are victims of dating abuse. Whether you are experiencing abuse or you think you know someone who is, it's time to speak out. The Alabama Coalition Against Domestic Violence can answer questions about safe dating behavior, as well as provide shelter to those fleeing violent homes. Call 1-800-650-6522 for help and a way out.
We've had Alpha Insurance since our first daughter.
And when we had quadruplets, we really needed Alpha.
Now we need our own insurance with great rates, fast claim service,
and a local agent we know.
And we want a company our kids and grandkids can trust.
Ask about Alpha's new legacy discount for homeowners.
Call Alpha!
Welcome back to Sweetwater, Alabama, home to this week's Game of the Week. We have the Washington County Band performing right now. It is 32-0. Washington County very dominant in this first half. Right now with me, I have Sweetwater High School, Phyllis Mablewitz. This is your first year at the high school. Just talk about how this week has been, preparing for such a huge rivalry in this game.
It's been a busy week for us, and especially being a Thursday night ball game. We're actually a K-12 school, so I have kindergartners through seniors here on my campus. We've all worked together and worked hard to make it all work.
And how has this been for all the students, from the little ones all the way to the high schoolers?
My little ones have been just as excited as my high schoolers down there that have their bodies painted. So it's been a big week for everyone.
Now talk about, obviously academics is a huge #1 in every school, but talk about what role does athletics play in students who are involved in academics and athletics?
Well, academics are definitely our #1 priority, but we believe that a great high school has a great marriage between academics and athletics, that they complement one another. And that's the way we go about things here at Sweetwater.
And how important is it to have the support of the community at a local high school?
Now, we're a small school in a very rural area, and we have an incredibly supportive community. It is definitely a partnership between our school and our community. We wouldn't be what we are without this community and the pride that they have in this school.
And we're also joined by Superintendent Luke Hallmark. Tell us, there's a lot more to the Sweetwater name than a lot of people know about. How did Sweetwater get its name?
Well, it depends on who you talk to. I guess one of the better descriptions would be there were some people that were probably had some kegs of molasses and syrup, and they were crossing one of the local bridges and had a little mishap, and the kegs of molasses fell into the water, and it drifted down into this area. And back in the olden days, how they would draw water from a creek. When they drew this water from the creek, the water was sweet. And so when they went to name the community, eventually they came up with it being the water being sweet, we'll name it Sweetwater.
And tell us, they're also known for their lumber, and one of the largest lumber plants is also in this area. How important is that to have that business structure in this community?
Well, any business industry is important to a community. Sweetwater and Marengo County, the whole area, relies heavily on agriculture, lumber business, and there's a lot of timber out here. And we have a lot of our parents that send their kids to the schools here in the county that work at the mills. And the mills have been very good for our community with employment, and they make a good living, and they send their kids to the public schools here, and we're tickled to have them.
And talk about having a K through 12 school. That is very uncommon. A lot of people haven't heard of that.
Well, I went to a K-12 school in Uniontown, so you know they're out there, and it's unique. You know, a student can walk into the school as a kindergarten student and walk out with a diploma. A lot of times in your small rural areas, instead of having 2 or 3 different schools, you just have one community K-12 school. Our county itself, we at one time had 4 K-12 schools, and we have 3 K-12 schools now. But I think it's very, very interesting, and it's a unique. The principals are able to develop curriculums where the kids just move from one grade to the next grade, and I think it's a good program. It's been very successful for us in the county.
Thank you so much, guys. 32-0 at the half. We will be back at the break.
Drum majors, is your band ready? You may take the field in exhibition. Ladies and gentlemen, the Sweetwater Marching Band presents The Running of the Bulldogs.
Relax, Carlos. With McDonald's, you can afford to win them both over. Right now, you choose any 2 Big Mac sandwich, Filet-O-Fish sandwich, or 10-piece chicken McNuggets for only $5.
This moment, it's been 40 years in the making. Passing the torch from father to son is why your family partnered with Regions in the first place. From succession planning to your first day as CEO, Regions shares your vision for moving forward. And at moments like this, that makes all the difference. Is your business at a turning point? Turn to Regions.
I love being a part of the faculty at UWA. The campus is so beautiful, and it's just the right size. World class, without classes big enough for the world. And my students are like my family. They say there is something about this place. I say it's because this place feels like home. On campus or online, the University of West Alabama.
If you have AT&T UVerse, a weird thing can happen when you turn on your HD TVs. Your UVerse internet connection will slow down, interrupt you. Not with Charter. With Charter, you get internet speeds of 30 megabits per second, 5 times faster than AT&T UVerse. So no matter how many TVs are on, your internet will never do that. Hey, AT&T, if you sell internet and TV together, shouldn't they work together better than this?
We welcome you back. Halftime here in Sweetwater. The Bulldogs of Washington County leading the Bulldogs of Sweetwater 32-0. I think we were both surprised at the ability of Washington County to move the football. Maybe a little bit surprised of the inability for Sweetwater to move the football.
Right, I think so, Graham. You know, we both came into this game knowing that Sweetwater runs that wing tee. They are so accustomed to having a lot of success running the football and mixing in a pass here and there. And they've just not been able to get anything untracked on the offensive side of the ball tonight. And on the opposite side of that coin, Washington seems like everything Washington County does comes up roses for them. And you can look at the stats here and you can tell just by the numbers how dominant they've been. 196 yards rushing, 137 yards passing, 333 total yards in the first half for Washington County. And you look on the other side of the ball, only 41 rushing yards for Sweetwater. And I would dare anybody to name the last time that Sweetwater played a half of football and only had 41 yards rushing. And they've got 48 yards passing, 99 total yards, only 3 first downs for Sweetwater, 12 for Washington County. It's just been pretty much a domination so far.
And I got to add insult to injury on that rushing number for Sweetwater. They had their first play that went for what, 40 some odd yards.
Yep.
And basically that play has been wiped out.
It has.
It didn't count because you had a situation where Sweetwater has not been able to go forward, to move forward. You made an excellent point, I thought, here at the break about just how much Washington County, their pursuit, the defensive tackles, their defensive line is in the backfield, and it's lived there most of the first half.
Well, the game is being won by Washington County on the front line, both sides of the ball. Their offensive line has dominated the defensive front of Sweetwater. And on the other side of the ball, their defensive line has dominated the offensive line of Sweetwater. And, you know, and you look at it, there is a size difference between the two teams. Washington County has a lot more size on both sides of the football than does Sweetwater, and they've just been able to dominate the trenches the entire ball game.
Mr. Holcomb, not a bad first half, 14 carries, 165 yards, 2 touchdowns. And he is, as we have we talked about it during the first half, we talk about it at this half. Stacy Luker was up here and just mentioned how this guy is just, he's like a little rolling bowling ball, even though he stands up high.
Right.
But he's tough to bring down.
He is. You know, he runs tall. He runs fast, and he doesn't take very long to get speed built up. He's one of those guys that if you give him a couple of steps, he's going to hurt you. And Stacy was telling us about a play in the semifinals where they strung him out, and his cornerback had him and started driving him into the field. He said the next thing you know, this kid picks up the cornerback drops him, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to catch him. And he said he's just that kind of back. He's not only he's not that big of a guy, but he runs big, and he's very strong.
Yep, hard to handle. And we saw that. Let's take a look at what the standings look like going into tonight. And you got really a three-way tie, a four-way tie for first place. That is going to change, and if this holds up, Sweetwater will drop to 2-1, and Washington County, to use a tennis term, will be a serve up.
Right, and you know they're definitely getting the breaker here. To use carry on the tennis terminology here, they're getting the break in this one in this match.
Right,
and they're going to get the upper hand, but. You know, this is a tough region, and like we said earlier when we were talking about this a little bit, those top 4 teams will make some noise in the playoffs, and they'll be around for a little while. Leroy, Washington County, Southern Choctaw, Sweetwater, those are all names that have had lots of success in their program, and most notably Leroy and Sweetwater out of those 4 are the most notable names, but Washington County's made some noise the last couple of years getting to the Super 6, and I tell you what, they're a good-looking football team. I've been really impressed with the way they've approached this game and the discipline that they've had. And I've been really impressed with their line play on both sides.
We got another half to play. Washington County ready to get back on the field, and why not? 32-0, they lead. We'll get the second half kickoff when we come back.
This is Big Jack Ingram Nissan's Big Zero event. 0 down, 0% financing, 0 payments till next year. New 2015 Altima, 18,888. Big Zero event at Jack Ingram Nissan. Absolutely 0 down, 0 financing, 0 payments till 2015. 18,888. New 2015 Altima. Eastern Bypass, Montgomery. Don't buy a new car till you get a Jack Ingram price. JackIngramNissan.net.
Everyone from Huntsville knows that if you've been hurt in a car wreck, you call my attorney, Alexander Shannara.
You know who to call if you've been in an auto accident. Your attorney, Alexander Shannara.
In Athens, we all know that if you've been in a car wreck, you call Alexander Shannara.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, you know who to call. Call me, Alexander Shannara. Remember, Huntsville, I am your attorney.
You know who to call. Your attorney, Alexander Shannara.
My son is going to college. And I travel a lot. Will Legacy Credit Union still be convenient?
Of course. Legacy provides many free and convenient ways to manage your account, such as free mobile banking, online banking with bill pay, e-statements, and more. And with access to over 5,000 branches and 30,000 free ATMs throughout the nationwide co-op network, Legacy is always nearby. Make the most of your money, no matter where you are. Join today.
At Alabama Foundation Specialist, we know your home is your biggest investment, and it starts with a solid foundation. But sometimes changes in underlying soils can cause sidewalks, driveways, porches, and pool decks to shift and crack. AFS has a simple, inexpensive solution that lifts the slabs with expansive foam called PolyLevel. It's lightweight, adheres in minutes, won't wash out or shift. Don't replace it, raise it. For a free estimate, call AFS or go to afsrepair.com.
A couple of minutes before we kick off the second half here. We're going to see, I believe Christina has got Coach Thompson on the sideline.
Coach, 32-0 on the half. What is it going to do to try to get this one back?
We just got to do what we do, and that's block and tackle. And we're not doing either one of those very well right now. But we're hopefully we made some little adjustments. Maybe we'll do better in the second half.
What's your goal for the second half?
Just to win the second half. I told the guys, no matter what the score is at the end, I want to win this second half. Make us feel a whole lot better about ourselves.
All right. Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Guys.
So head coach Pat Thompson with, I think, a great approach.
Oh, absolutely. That's a very realistic thing right there for a head coach. Hey, guys, look, first half's over. Let's play this as a 2-quarter ball game, and let's win these 2 quarters. And no matter what the score ends up at the end of the ball game, let's win these 2 quarters and come out of here with something positive. And that's a great approach to take.
Again, it's 32-0 as we will get the second half underway momentarily. A reminder, we're in Montgomery next week for Thursday night touchdowns. A couple of what we call Capital City Conference teams, and I'll explain all that as we get closer to it and next Thursday. But we'll have Trinity and Montgomery Academy, the Wildcats and Eagles. And we'll be coming to you from Trinity Presbyterian School. Of course, as always, we kick it off about 7 o'clock. Thursday night touchdowns, Montgomery Academy and Trinity. And I believe that's our halfway point, is it not?
I do believe it is.
So we're
number 5.
It seems like everything is just flying by. That's the way high school football season is, though, right? It just gets by so quick, and you look behind you and you say, where'd it go?
Yeah, next thing you know, you're at Super 6 time, and you're going, wow, is it already this time of year?
All right, Christina, what you got?
Well, guys, for those at home and those who are actually here as well, if you want to know more about Path to the Playoffs, check out our website, pathtotheplayoffs.com. We have information about the teams and live streaming video from every game, every Thursday night, and previous games are also on there for those who want to see their home team. So it's pathtotheplayoffs.com.
All right, thank you, Christina. Now, she's the younger of the 3. I know it's hard to believe. You look at us and then you look at her, but
how could you think we were any older?
I have no idea. But anyway, she's big on this Twitter business, big on what's going on the internet. So we're going to be high tech before this is all said and done, thanks to Christina.
You know, actually, we had a selfie done before the game here.
I heard about that.
I mean, that's kind of cool.
And I got to just tell you, I voted against it, but. And if you saw enough of me, you'd know why.
You're not as photogenic as I am.
No, I'm not. Not to mention I'm a secret agent. I'm not supposed to have my picture taken. All right, what do you got to do here? Sweetwater's going to get the ball to start the second half. I say this, it seems like every week when a team is behind big, but you got to sustain a drive here. You got to get some positive yardage.
Well, you know, that's the key to the whole thing. If they're going to have any kind of confidence, they've got to get something positive going on the offensive side of the ball.
The kick again to the far side of the field. Green trying to find somewhere to go. He'll get up to the 40, and that is where Sweetwater will set up shop, 1st and 10. Branson Davis, a couple of interceptions. He also had a couple of nice passes early on, but his pocket is broken down.
Oh, he's had somebody in his face. Normally it's number 55 that's in his face.
Cameron Moss.
He's had somebody all over him, you know, several times when he's tried to throw the football. I think that's caused both interceptions. But they got to do something here, and hopefully they can get some positive going on the offensive side of the ball, gain a little confidence.
I'll read you the defensive starters for Washington County after this play, as a pickup of 6 for Eric Jenkins. Diamante Green is one defensive end along with Braxton Kinsey, although he has left the game and is out. And as I look out there, it looks like they've got number 12, Michael Hicks, playing at the other defensive end. Dalton Harrison. And we'll check the rest of them here after this play. 2nd and 5. Davis with a handoff to a newcomer, R.J. Rogers. First time the sophomore has carried the football. And it looked like he got a first down.
And look at that, Graham. You know, I think Eric Jenkins had the best run maybe he's had of the night on first down. And then you follow right behind with R.J. Rogers there, another good run the other direction. So maybe something positive brewing here for Sweetwater.
And maybe a message sent by Pat Thompson to say, hey, let me see somebody run the ball a little bit harder.
I'm sure he challenged those guys in the locker room and, you know, sort of made them feel like we need to do something here.
It is a first down. To finish off the Washington County defense, they've got James Reddy, Dear Kinsey, DeAndre Smith at linebacker, the backfield of Austin Kinsey, Corey Donaldson, DeAnthony Holcomb, and Kevin Howard.
You know what's interesting, Graham, I just noticed?
What's that?
Both teams have a player named Diamante Green.
How about that? 1st and 10, and short gain for Green.
The All-State linebacker for Sweetwater's name is Diamante Green.
How about that?
And then your defensive player you just mentioned as a defensive end for Washington County is Diamante Green. So how about that?
2nd and 8. We're underway here in the second half, 10-12 in counting. Davis. Again, they run the wing T here. And it's pretty much what we've seen all night. Jenkins trying to get outside, nowhere to go. I believe that was Kinsey.
Curtis Anderson, I believe.
I was going to say Anderson was there.
He came across, and it was just right there. And nobody got a chip on him or anything, and he was there to make the tackle before Jenkins could get his feet moving good. And that's the problem Eric Jenkins has had all night. You know, he just can't get room to get going, and we've not seen that big playability that he has.
3rd and 8. Davis looks to throw, going deep. Double coverage. Did he hold on? I believe he did. Corey Donaldson with the interception. 2nd of the night for Washington County secondary.
Well, and you know, Graham, you notice that Washington County did not bite on the fakes on that play, and a lot of that has to do with the lack of success Sweetwater's had.
All right, we're going to take a break. 9:12 left in the 3rd quarter. Washington County with a big lead.
Truck sale. Glenn Smith in Opelika has over 200 trucks in stock. Full-size trucks, small trucks, light duty and heavy duty. 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, over 200 trucks in stock with $750,000 in discounts. Plus 20 financial institutions ready to lend today. $7 million in finance money available. Red hot truck sale only at Glenn Smith Chevrolet Buick GMC in Opelika. On the web 24/7 at glennsmithchevy.com.
Apply, sign, drive. Isn't that what you want to do when you get your next auto loan? At Army Aviation Center Federal Credit Union, that's how we take care of your auto loan. Apply at a branch, online, or with one of our preferred dealers. Sign your loan papers without a long wait. Drive your new car, truck, or SUV home. See our loan professionals today about your next auto loan. Not a member? It's easy to join, so stop by any of our 13 Wiregrass area or North Florida locations and find out how.
Staying active is an important part of a healthy lifestyle. Any exercise comes with the risk of getting hurt. Don't let an injury get between you and the activities you love. Let Alabama Orthopedic, Spine, and Sports Medicine Associates be the team that's working together to get you better.
Hi, I'm Dr. Gregory Galan. Back and neck injuries occur on and off the field. If you're injured, come see us. We'll get your back in the game.
Let our team help you recover your lifestyle. Call or visit AOSSMA online today.
Another turnover for Sweetwater. Washington County has it back, 1st and 10 at the 15-yard line. Bailey Brown at quarterback. He's got Holcomb in the backfield, and he has the football. He'll try to string it out and gets the corner and picks up about 12 yards. Let's go down and see Christina for a moment.
Well, guys, the state of Alabama has beautiful state parks all throughout, but a lot of people don't know exactly where they are. Well, there's an app for that. Nikki Luker joins us again with Roland Cooper State Park. What exactly does this app do, and what is it called?
The name of it is the Pocket Ranger. You can go to your app store or go to pocketranger.com and download it. Pretty much you can put in your zip code, you can put in a city to find a near state park to you, and it has gobs of information on there that you can, you know, where they're at, what kind of amenities they have, so it's really good.
And you can find that app on any smartphone that you may have. Guys?
All right, thank you, Christina. You saw the run there from DeAndre Smith, picked up close. Actually, he did get a first down, so 1st and 10 at the 36.
It's a nice run. Nice run right here by Smith.
And they're not doing anything fancy.
They're not.
It's like, catch me if you can.
They're not running a lot of misdirection. They're not trying to fool anybody. They're just going straight forward what they do.
Another, you could almost call it an off-tackle play. That's Abston, the backup for Holcomb. And you do wonder how much we'll see of Holcomb. As long as this big lead is in play, you don't need to use up Holcomb too much. He's got several more games to play.
Right. And you know, Graham, I've said it a couple of times already, but I'm really impressed with the job that Washington County has done up front on both sides of the football. They have just, that you know, if I had to pick an MVP of the game, I believe I might pick the offensive line of Washington County.
We may have a flag, or do we? I believe there is one.
There is.
The end was not set on this side, so that should be a 5-yard penalty on Washington County. One of the few mistakes they've made tonight.
Called an illegal shift there.
Illegal formation, Washington County.
So a 5-yard step off.
The mistakes they have made, most of it involved a yellow flag. So.
Yep, no turnovers, I believe, for Washington County. And quite frankly, most of the flags have come on point after tries.
Yeah.
And you know, it has cost them a couple of kicks, but when you're up 32-0, I don't think you're going to gripe too much. 2nd and 6. Absent again. And looks like he got enough for the first down.
I believe he did.
Paul Weatherly there for the stop, but not before another. Washington County, first down. They are ranked 2nd in the state. Sweetwater before tonight ranked 5th. Obviously they will fall, but you got to think Washington County, thinking about the last 2 years, they had to come back here.
All right, exactly.
In the playoffs, the semifinals. And for just a minute, you assume if the possibility exists that Sweetwater can finish 2nd, now they'll have to go to Chatham if indeed they meet in the playoffs. Pitch left, absent. Gets about 4. Deshaun Kilpatrick on the stop.
And Graham, you know, like you said just a few minutes ago, Washington County is not doing anything right here to try to fool anybody. They're not doing any kind of trickery. They're just running the football straight ahead and saying, look, we're going to do this until you stop us.
And Chris Davis is telling them, run the play clock. They will not snap it. Right now it's at 12. They're not even up to the line of scrimmage, basically. And now they'll get on the line with about 6 seconds. So he is working the clock. Another handoff, but a big play by the defense that time. Stunning. I believe that was Kyle Patterson with a big play and a loss of about 3.
Deshaun Kilpatrick was in there again too, Graham, from that defensive tackle spot. Those two guys hit him about the same time and made a good play for the defense here.
So a 3rd and 7. Ball at midfield. Short gain, game tackle. Absent gets maybe a yard, and that'll set up, I believe, Washington County's first punt of the night. Am I correct about that?
I believe you are.
They haven't had any reason to punt. They have scored on every possession up until this one.
And they've been in positive yardage territory when they've had 4th downs, and they've actually had a couple of big plays on 4th down. 1 touchdown and another big pass play that got them inside the 5-yard line. So they've had a lot of success on 4th down, and they haven't had to punt.
Did you mention that it was the exact same play on 4th down?
Exactly, on both plays, yeah.
Cox will to punt. Moderate pressure, that one. Good punt. It's going to go. Oh, did it catch the pylon? It did not, and it's down at the 1. Well, depending on who you're for, 46-yard punt. And if you're Sweetwater, you're thinking, well, if it rains, it pours.
Exactly. You know, it's got to be what you're thinking. It's just one of those things that I would imagine if Pat Thompson had hair, he would want to pull it out right now. Not saying anything about baldness, but
no, not at all. So 1st and 10 at the 1.
I think Coach Thompson is bald because he wants to be
I was
bald.
going to say, I hate to use the term self-inflicted. That sounds bad. But I believe he has chosen that mode of hair usage. So Sweetwater needs to be careful here. Couple of backs behind Davis, Green and Jenkins. It will go to Green, and he is shoved backward, but they will give him forward progress up to the 2. DeAndre Smith. We have called his name a bunch defensively tonight.
We have.
22, Quentin Smith on the stop.
So 2nd and 9 coming up. And at this point, you just want to avoid a safety.
Yeah, you're just trying to get some breathing room, which has been difficult to do.
I was going to
tonight.
say, dare I say, Sweetwater's been on life support offensively most of the night. They will throw it. Davis in his end zone and just throws it away. Was there a receiver nearby? Apparently so, no flag. And it's a good thing, because if that would have been grounding, it would have been a safety.
Yeah, he did have a guy in the area. I believe that was Weatherly.
Yeah, I thought I saw Paul Weatherly out around the 20-yard line. So a 3rd and 8 coming up as we watch it again. Davis.
And there's that guy chasing him again.
Yeah.
You know,
Moss has been everywhere.
He has. He's been all over Branson Davis tonight. And he's going to have bad dreams about number 55, I believe.
Now, I believe I saw Davis come off the field, so we'll check. No, he did not. He's back out there, and he's going to throw one deep. Double coverage again.
Oh, man, did he lose it? Almost a great catch on the ground.
Will Huckabee, the intended receiver. He almost caught it at the 35.
Ball was tipped around, and he landed flat of his back, and the ball came down to him. He just couldn't hold it. Almost a terrific play for Sweetwater.
Good pass by Davis. And again, everybody's backing up in the Washington County secondary, but still a near incredible catch by Huckabee, the tight end. So standing just inside his end zone is the punter, Jonas Smith. We'll see what kind of a rush we get from Washington County. High snap. Smith boots it away. They'll let it roll at about the 35. It'll be 1st and 10 there for Washington County. Timeout on the field. Washington County with a 32-0 lead.
Derek was with the scrubs.
She's going for it. It's gonna work. She's going for the burger. Stand back, everyone. I'm a doctor. Look, I got it. I got it.
Jack, for more. I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That changed my life.
At that moment, it hit me. This is why I joined the Guard. We're soldiers, always ready to protect our country. But we've also got communities. Family, friends, neighbors who count on us. I couldn't believe it. I just saved a life to somebody from my hometown.
See what it means to be a citizen soldier at NationalGuard.com.
2/3 of drivers who died in car crashes chose to ignore this warning. Seatbelts save lives. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
If you're involved in a car crash where a driver's been drinking,
you're 4 times more likely to die.
more people die when it's DUI.
A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
I'm Diane Bentley, Alabama's First Lady. Over 15 million children are exposed to domestic violence each year, and 10% of high school students are victims of dating abuse. Whether you are experiencing abuse or you think you know someone who is, it's time to speak out. The Alabama Coalition Against Domestic Violence can answer questions about safe dating behavior, as well as provide shelter to those fleeing violent homes. Call 1-800-650-6522 for help and a way out.
This year, our Alabama State Parks are celebrating their 75th anniversary. To learn more about our amazing Alabama State Parks, download their new mobile app. Go to alapark.com and click on the link for a free download. 4:47 left, third quarter. Great field position for Washington County again, and they're going to run the option. Hadn't seen that much tonight. Hadn't really needed it. And we do see Holcomb again. Wasn't sure if we would see him, but I guess you got to keep him fresh.
Yeah, give him a couple of carries here and there, and it probably won't be long before you won't see very many of these first teamers at all for Washington County.
I imagine that Coach Wilson, there you see him. He's playing timekeeper right now. He would not want to get anybody hurt. They've got plenty of football left, but right now, with this win, assuming they hold on, and there's no reason not to, they're setting themselves up for a pretty nice 2014 as Holcomb. That's one of the few times he's gone down on first contact.
2 yards on the play.
Yeah, there's not been very many times that he's gone down a lot at all, but he did go on first contact that time.
So a third down, and I dare say that you're not, you mentioned this in the last series, that Washington County not doing anything at this point. They're just playing clock.
Right.
3:38 left in the third quarter. They'll split 3 wideouts. Instead, Holcomb cuts it outside, finds a seam, 10, 5, touchdown. 31 yards for Holcomb. His third touchdown of the night and his 8th of the year.
And that's going to put him awfully close, if not over 200 yards on the night. I don't know what his rushing total is right now.
Well, he had about 165, I believe, before that series. And he had, what, most if not all of the carries on that drive. So we'll get that number here in just a minute. Either way, it's a pretty good night for the young man, the senior. Coxwell's kick is good. So with 3:08 to go, 213 yards now and 18 carries for Holcomb.
And, you know, Graham, you don't want to beat a dead horse, but Sweetwater's seen this before out of this guy. The last time they saw it, unfortunately, was last year in the semifinals when he had a good game. And they know all about Mr. Holcomb, and he's not done anything tonight to allow him to forget.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that at the break, about what Coach Stacy Luker was telling us. Again, these two teams knew what they were up against tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think there's been too much different. Maybe a couple of pass plays here or there, but pretty much mano-a-mano. And right now the white team mono is leading, and we'll get a penalty, another one on the kickoff.
You know, it's funny, Graham, most of the flags against Washington County tonight have been on special teams. You know, either the extra points or the kickoffs, they've had a number of flags. I think they've only had maybe 2 when they've been on offense or defense.
Washington County offside.
So they'll kick it from the 35 this time. Reminder again, Thursday night next week, Montgomery is the site. It'll be Trinity and Montgomery Academy for a big game in the Capital City Conference. And I'll explain those schools. Of course, you can watch it on television, online, mobile. Go to pathtotheplayoffs.com for details. It's time they kick it deep. And reversing field is Reddick. And they'll catch up to him at about the 25. Capital City Conference, by the way, in Montgomery is basically the private schools in Montgomery. You've got Trinity, St. James, Montgomery Academy, Alabama Christian Academy, Montgomery Catholic. You used to have St. Jude, but they closed their doors after last year. And before everybody, well, those schools have grown. Used to that they were all basically in the same classification, or at least 1 or 2 separate. Pitch sweep near side. And Jenkins got about, well, did he get anything? He might have lost a yard.
Number 4, Curtis Anderson on the stop.
But you see the standings, or I believe we'll have the standings for in Class 3A. Montgomery Academy is a 3A school. Trinity is a 4A school. And that's pretty much been the case. Those two programs, those two schools have been separated in classifications for several years, and usually it is Trinity that's a little bit bigger. In fact, last year Montgomery Academy was a 2A school and did quite well in the playoffs, in the 2A playoffs. We'll get you those standings momentarily. Davis to throw over the middle, incomplete. Jenkins, the intended receiver.
Actually had Jenkins open right there, just a little bit out of his reach.
So 3rd and 9 coming up. But right now, Montgomery Academy, as we look at this play again.
Good touch on the throw right there. Just a little bit too far to the outside for Jenkins to be able to get to.
He ran past the Washington County secondary, but the pass just out of his reach. So a 3rd and 9 at the 28. Clock stop, 2:25 left to play, 3rd quarter. And now a timeout, I believe, taken by Sweetwater. But going back to next week, there's your standings in 3A Region 3. You see Montgomery Academy off to a good start. They've got a big game, I believe, tomorrow against Midfield. And everybody's chasing Fultondale, who I want to say scored 60-some-odd points last week.
Yeah, and that's a school, Graham, a good story behind them. They, for a long time, they were sort of suffered in mediocrity, and they've gotten pretty good here of late. Both my cousins were starting quarterbacks for Fultondale back in the day. My cousin Mark, who owns Chick-fil-A there on 280 right outside Birmingham, was the starting quarterback, I think, for 3 years for Fultondale. And his brother Matt, who's a minister now down in Jacksonville, was the starting quarterback a few years later. And during that time, Fultondale was a decent team, had some good years, but nothing like the success they've had here of late.
You always work a family member in every one of these stories, the team stories. I like that.
You know, the stories I could tell tonight about some of these folks around here.
A bobble of the ball by Jenkins. He does collect it, and he's not going to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Somebody's helmet just flew about 3 or 4 yards away.
I believe Smith again with a tackle. I believe that might have been Jenkins who lost his helmet.
That was the headgear of Jenkins. But I tell you, I was talking to Coach Thompson last night. And, we'll watch this play and we'll see the helmet fly off here right at the end of this play. As he gets in the crowd, he gets popped a couple of times, and then boom, there goes the helmet. It's going to fly out of there.
You're supposed to say what Brent Musburger said the other day, boom goes the dynamite.
Boom goes the dynamite.
I want to hold that against you.
I won't use that one too much.
So a punting situation, thank you, I appreciate that. A punting situation for Sweetwater. Jonas Smith, nice punt. Will take a roll actually laterally in midfield. And so Washington County gets it back with just under 2 minutes to play.
What I was saying, I was talking to Coach Pat Thompson. Come to find out, he ended up graduating at West Alabama, where I did, where Stacy Luker did, where Mark Davis, the assistant principal here, he's also the basketball coach. We all went, Stacy, Mark, and I all went to school together at the same time, hung out together, played on the same intramural team. That intramural team was called the River Rats. And it was called the River Rats because Stacy and Mark and Tuffy Atkins, Coach Nolan Atkins' son, all lived together in a house over by the river in Livingston, and it became known as the Rat House. And
now, there weren't any rats, actually.
I think that's why it was called the Rat House.
Ah, okay.
But we had a lot of fun together during those years, and you talk about some great athletes. From Stacy Luker, of course, he was just talking at halftime. He's still the best quarterback on any of the last 3 or 4 teams he's coached when he runs the scout team.
He was giving us some statistics. I would love to get him and Bobby Card at Edgewood Academy together. I bet they probably have a duel over that. One of the few times we've seen Holcomb go down for a loss. It'll be 2nd and about 12.
But what I was adding, found out that Pat Thompson, even 3 or 4 years after we were all gone, they still had the River Rats, and Pat Thompson played for the River Rats as well. So we're all alumni of the same intramural team.
There goes Holcomb into the secondary. breaks one tackle, but then goes out of bounds at the 35. That'll be a first down run. And he's still cruising here late in the third quarter.
He is racking up some numbers, I'm going to tell you.
There was a flag down, by the way. This one may come back, but it's still fun to watch, at least if you're for Washington County, not so much for Sweetwater fans. So that one does come back. It was a chop block. We haven't seen that call much this year. It's a 15-yard penalty. So second and looks like 25 now. Ball way back at the 35. Traded 35s on that penalty.
Yep.
What a job by Chris Wilson. And I want to mention something about him. As good as Washington County has been over the years, they're probably in the middle of their best run.
Oh, yeah.
Back-to-back championship berths. The irony there is they didn't win a region championship either one of those years because of Sweetwater. And yet he got them to the championship. They did lose both times to Tanner. Brown gets roughly half of the penalty yardage back. But he has come in, and again, he learned while he was at Vestavia Hills under Buddy Anderson. He said, I tried to soak it up like a sponge. It had been like a young kid sitting at the foot of their elder. Because you learn it from one of the best, and I think we've already mentioned this, that Anderson last week became the winningest coach in state history. But you can't beat where you learn from with a guy like that.
And Buddy Anderson, a pretty class act as well. Not only a good football coach, but a class act over the years.
That's going to do it for the third quarter. Another good one for Washington County, 39-0.
If you have AT&T UVerse, a weird thing can happen when you turn on your HD TVs. Your UVerse internet connection will slow down, interrupt you. Not with Charter. With Charter, you get internet speeds of 30 megabits per second, 5 times faster than AT&T UVerse. So no matter how many TVs are on, your internet will never do that. Hey, AT&T, if you sell internet and TV together, shouldn't they work together better than this?
There's so much to love about UWA. The campus is beautiful, and it's just the right size. And I love the new residence hall. I've made so many friends. They say, there's something about this place. I say, it's because this place feels like home. On campus or online, the University of West Alabama.
This is Big Jack Ingram Nissan's Big Zero event. 0 down, 0% financing, 0 payments till next year. Versa 10,888 or $119 a month. Big Zero event at Jack Ingram Nissan. Absolutely 0 down, 0 financing, 0 payments till 2015. 10,888 Versa or $119 a month. Eastern Bypass, Montgomery. Don't buy a new car till you get a Jack Ingram price. JackIngramNissan.net.
Children's of Alabama has been taking care of kids across our state for over 100 years. The opening of the Benjamin Russell Hospital for Children allows even more patient care. It leads the country in technology and innovation, including 17 state-of-the-art operating rooms, an expanded imaging center, and the Bruno Pediatric Heart Center, just to name a few. Children provides the highest level of care in a loving, comforting environment. I hope that you or anyone in your family never needs to be a patient, but if they do, Children's is here for you.
We welcome you back. Nolan Atkins Stadium, Victory Field at Nolan Atkins Stadium. Obviously named for the guy who really got Sweetwater on the map in football.
Kind of the author or the builder of this dynasty here at Sweetwater. A lot of years under his belt, 25 years in coaching, 216, 50, and 5 at Sweetwater. What a record. And 4 state titles. And in his coaching career, Graham, Nolan Atkins, 16 region championships. And that was at Thomasville, here at Sweetwater, and then at Patrician Academy over in Butler, Alabama, not too far away. And, you know, in 2006, 2007, those back-to-back seasons, Sweetwater went 27-1. They scored 712 points in the 2007 season.
Wow. State record, if I'm not mistaken. There's a great punt that almost stayed out of the end zone. 55 yards on the punt. Well, I tell you what, everything has just gone right for Washington County. But back to Coach Atkins. The most unusual stat of all of this.
Yeah.
This school closed twice. Once, I believe, in 1970. Another time, I believe, in 1980. He left and came back.
Yeah, a year later when it reopened.
When they reopened it.
And it's, that's incredible. And that he was able to do that, and his loyalty to this school and to this community to be willing to do that. A lot of guys would have said, you know, this situation is not very good. They've closed the school. You know, how good is the future here? But he came back, and everybody around here is better for it. He has produced some tremendous athletes, but also some tremendous citizens, not just productive athletes, but productive citizens.
And I think that's something that gets lost far too much. And you talk to a coach, and you and I, we've been talking to coaches for 25 or 30 years for different reasons.
Yep.
But you can really see the effect that these coaches have on their players and what they're able to do. Eric Jenkins with a carry there. It'll be third down. And I'm so impressed when you go up and you meet a player who has played for somebody like Atkins or Luca or Chris Wilson or whoever.
Right.
And they look you in the eye, they shake your hand. It's a great feeling to know that young men have been brought up, and I don't want to leave their parents out, but you get what I'm saying.
Well, it's the power of athletics. You know, a lot of people, athletics gets a bad rap in a lot of circles, but you know, I worked in college athletics for 16 years. And one of the biggest things that I tried to publicize was that athletes tend to have a higher overall GPA in school than non-athletes. It works that way on a lot of college campuses, and it's a testament to their coaches and the discipline that they instill in those kids, because those kids have to have discipline off the field as well as on the field, and it goes hand in hand, and a lot of people don't realize that. And you know, you hear about the bad stories and you hear about the bad folks. There's been a lot of that in the news lately, too much of it, as we talked about on the way down here, but the good stories get left out a lot, and it's a good thing for us to have the opportunity to bring something out. A man like Nolan Atkins, who's done so much for athletes and for the game of football and for this community, give him some much needed publicity.
You did see a first down for Sweetwater. We haven't said that much tonight, and then a catch should be a carry of about 5 yards for Eric Jenkins. Let's see what Christina's got going on down on the sideline.
If you're enjoying tonight's broadcast, you can catch us online on your smartphone or on one of our local Raycom stations. For more information, go to pathtotheplayoffs.com. We stream games live there, and it gives you all kind of updates on each team. And if you missed tonight's broadcast, don't worry, we got you covered there. All of our games are streamed online, and you can watch them over and over again on pathtotheplayoffs.com.
And Christina, we want to point out that if you go back early on in this game, you will see her make an incredible move.
Absolutely.
To get out of the way of an oncoming rusher. In fact, that should be our play of the game, if you ask me.
Well, you know, she was a collegiate athlete.
Yes, she was.
At UAB.
So she tells us.
She ran track.
I didn't see the medals, but I'm going to take her word for it.
You know, I believe her. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. She looks like a sprinter or a...
She does that.
Or maybe a distance runner. I don't know about a sprinter or if she was a distance runner. Don't know what her event was, but at any rate, a collegiate athlete. And if you're a collegiate athlete, you got to be at least somewhat athletic. And I think she could probably outrun me any day of the week.
Sweetwater does convert on fourth down. They keep the chains moving. Boy, they could have used some of this in the first half, couldn't they? First and 10 at the 45. Clock is moving. Under 9 minutes to play here in this one.
Now, Graham, you mentioned Stacy Luker. I was talking to Stacy. He has moved over to Mississippi. He's at Neshoba Central now.
Right.
They are 2-2 on the season. And he was telling me before the game, he said, Mike, I'm going to tell you. He said, if there has ever been a football team that should be 3-1, He said, it is that team. He said, we're in victory formation.
Oh, no, not a
late in the ball
Joe
game.
Pisarcik play?
He said, we fumble on victory formation.
Wow.
The other team picks it up, goes down, and scores and ties the game, and they lost in overtime. And he said, I still want to throw up every time I think about that game. I said, knowing you, I know you do. And but he says his group should be 3-1 right now. They're 2-2, and that's a program that's not had a lot of success, but I think with Stacy Luker's hands on it, it's going to go places.
Green with a carry. It'll be third down and about a yard for Sweetwater, who's playing out the string here, down 39-0. But something about Stacy Luker, I wanted to point this out. Some people may not know this. He got his start at Washington County. He started his coaching career 2 years with Washington County. So he's got a little bit of a hand over there across the way.
Well, you know, and he was a tremendous athlete here, not only in football, but also in baseball. And
wasn't he a quarterback?
He was a quarterback.
And led, I believe he led Sweetwater to a championship. Jenkins picks up the first down. That'll stop the clock momentarily.
And he could throw a baseball. I'm going to tell you, he had a great arm and almost had an opportunity to play professionally and didn't quite pan out for him, but I didn't want to hit against him. I put it that way.
11th play of the drive, 1st and 10. Jenkins gets about 3. He was hit first by Smith. Well, you're Sweetwater. You got to get over this pretty quick next week, and I don't have their schedule in front of me, but whoever they play, you got to put this one out of your head.
Oh, absolutely. You just got to have amnesia on this one, and just hey, this one's over. Not going to dwell on it. We're going to go and play. But something else about Stacy Luker I knew I was going to mention. He has 2 sons, Graham, that are carrying on the legacy that are in coaching right now.
Yep.
He has one son who's an assistant at New Brockton and one son who's an assistant at Demopolis. And so the Luker name being carried on. And another son who's at West Alabama as a student. So probably going to go into coaching himself. He was in the press box here talking to us and talking a good bit of football. So he knows what's going on as well.
Yeah, they will have R.C. Hatch next week, and that'll be followed by Lehigh. We'll take a timeout. 39-0, Washington County.
Relax, Carlos. With McDonald's, you can afford to win them both over.
Right now, you choose any 2 Big Mac sandwich, Filet-O-Fish sandwich, or 10-piece chicken McNuggets for only $5.
We've had Alpha Insurance since our first daughter.
And when we had quadruplets, we really needed Alpha.
Now we need our own insurance with great rates, fast claim service,
and a local agent we know.
And we want a company our kids and grandkids can trust.
Ask about Alpha's new legacy discount for homeowners.
Call Alpha!
The warrior spirit, it's in there. Always has been. Now let it out and take the world by fire. Train well and learn what it means to be a Troy Trojan. Walk with confidence. Conquer. Claim territory and climb ladders. Discover your inner warrior. Find success in teaching others with an education degree from Troy University. For details, visit troy.edu/spirit.
At Orange Beach at the Wharf, October 4th. Come down and enjoy the LA Gumbo Fest. And of course, if you're from Alabama, you know that's not Los Angeles, that's Lower Alabama.
Right.
Tailgate edition, food, arts, crafts, music, lots of family fun. And maybe you'll win Bob's Iron Bowl tickets. Go to gumboforlife.com for more information. Gumboforlife.com. 39-0. Just under 7 minutes to go in this final quarter. And this young man's had a pretty good game. He hadn't carried it but a couple of times, but R.J. Rogers with another positive carry. and he's got a first down.
Well, R.J. Rogers is probably better known around here for his defense. Plays defensive back for Sweetwater, but Coach Paul Thompson told me he was a very intelligent kid, is going to go places, good GPA, good solid student. But a couple of other players I want to mention. The coach's son, Wynn Thompson, is the center for Sweetwater, and he, along with Isaiah Essex, the starting tackle, sort of are the comic relief on the Bulldog team. So they both carry on a lot of foolishness, but they come to work every day. Not very big, but they come to work every day, along with Darius Timmons, the guard over there. He said those guys just come to work every day and do their job, but they also keep things kind of lighthearted sometimes, and they're fun to be around. I asked him, I said, do you have a team comedian? He said, I got a whole team full of them.
Wow.
But evidently a good group.
You and I would fit in real well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Sweetwater only has 8 seniors.
And you know what? It kind of showed up tonight.
It does kind of show.
It has. 2nd and 7. Pitch left side. And a good run for Jenkins. That should be another first down.
Well,
the best sustained drive that Sweetwater's had.
And you're getting a little glimpse right here of what Eric Jenkins can do when he gets some room to run. He was able to get his shoulder square right there and turn upfield and get something done on that play.
So first down run for Jenkins.
Yeah, where we can see a little bit.
Yeah, we got a little condensation on the windows here. Mike Peacock, the man of many talents. Jenkins that time caught in the backfield.
I can raise a window with the best of them.
You mentioned the offensive line for Sweetwater. I think we've got to mention the guys on the other side. They have done the work tonight with Moss and Richardson, Goldman, Jones, and Morris. And I don't have any say-so in who the player of the game would be. We'll have that for you here.
I think it could be co-MVPs, and it'd be the line on both sides for Washington County.
Because they have controlled it tonight.
They have.
They have been a huge difference. Play number 15 of this drive. Davis trying to escape, can't.
And look who's on his back again.
Yeah, there's Moss. Cameron Moss has been all over the place.
I'm telling you, Branson Davis is going to have nightmares about the number 55 for probably weeks to come after this game, because those 2 numbers have been in his face.
Look at that helmet. Like he's got tiger claws.
Battle scars.
Battle scars, yeah. He has been a man among boys tonight. He is one of the 4 returning All-State performers for Washington County from last year's state runner-up team. It is 3rd and 11. Davis to throw again. This time he sprints out a little farther. He'll tuck it and run for about 4 yards before he's driven back. Looks like he was hit first by Michael Hicks. But it'll be 4th down for Sweetwater.
Well, Sweetwater desperately needs to get in the end zone right here, Graham. They've had a great drive. They've gotten it down this far. They really need to get this ball in the end zone. They can get a first down. Got to get down around the 5-yard line, just inside the 5 to get a first.
We're under 4 minutes to play. 4th and 6. They need just inside the 5 for a first down. And I believe we may get a timeout taken by Coach Thompson. So Sweetwater calls a timeout, and no, you're not going to win the football game, but this will at least give you a little momentum going into tomorrow.
It will. It will. And, you know, it gets a little further toward that goal that Coach Thompson had of winning the second half. They're not going to win the second half, but it gets them a little further toward that goal and gives them something positive here at the end of the game to start with.
Why don't we take a look at our defender of the game? And something tells me the guy's going to be in a white jersey.
I would think so.
That was a great play. by number 10, Kevin Howard, the free safety. The redhead.
The redhead.
He is our defender of the game.
If we could have an assistant defender of the game, I might give it to Mr. Moss.
I was going to say, heck, you could pick half a dozen guys on that Washington County defense. Every one of them have just had a fantastic night. Well, more or less last chance for Sweetwater here. 4th and 6 at the 10. Plenty of time to throw. Davis will lob it into the end zone, and a near one-handed grab, but incomplete. There is a flag down, but it is going against Sweetwater. But Will Huckabee, a nice try, but that's the kind of night it's been for Sweetwater.
Well, somebody got a hand on that ball, Graham, and knocked it up in the air, and Huckabee wasn't able to grab it.
So the decline of the penalty will give it back to Washington County. And they've got about 3 minutes or so to run off here and take home a win back to Chatham. We'll take a timeout. It's all Washington County tonight.
"2014 marks the 75th year our state parks have served the people of Alabama. During this diamond anniversary, you'll discover special events to celebrate this milestone. Hey there, Bob Baumhauer here. Whether you like camping under the stars or staying at a resort lodge, the Alabama State Parks specialize in amazing family adventures. Let's make this the best year yet. We depend on our partners, and just like these folks here, you can be a partner too by supporting our state parks.
Visit a park today!
At Baumhauer's, we're all about great sports, legendary food, and Southern pride. That's why we're serving up all your Southern favorites, like our tangy grilled fish salad, hot Bama brown, and our famous wings. And it wouldn't be the South if it didn't have a little kick, like a homemade gumbo and wild Gulf shrimp and grits. And don't forget our mouthwatering desserts like Bama Nana Pudding or strawberry shortcake. So call the gang and put a little South in your mouth.
Out of 89 Renaissance hotels in North America, the spa at the Renaissance Hotel in Montgomery was ranked #1 as of August 2014. Out of 358 Marriott hotels, the spa at the Marriott Shoals was ranked #1. 3 other spas on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail also rank in the top 7. Clearly, world-class golf and the best spas for 2014 are in Sweet Home, Alabama. Call 800 Marriott to find out more.
Hello, I'm Gene Solings.
And I'm Pat Dye.
You know, anytime you can get outdoors in Alabama and enjoy a day like this, it just makes you proud to be an American.
And speaking of being thankful, there's a program right here in Alabama called Forever Wild Land Trust that helps secure our public lands. So everybody has a place to go and get outdoors. Hey, don't just be proud of Alabama.
Get out and enjoy it. Forever Wild Land Trust.
Welcome back. Victory Field, Nolan Atkins Stadium. Not a happy place for Sweetwater fans tonight. They are down 39-0. Just had basically their final chance to score unless they could get a turnover here.
Right,
but
right.
It's been one of those nights that, quite frankly, you figure Sweetwater doesn't put up with. They don't normally have to deal with a game like this.
Right.
A couple of newcomers in the backfield for Washington County. Austin Kinsey with a carry. And he'll pick up a couple of yards. And you're going to hear a lot of new names here in this last couple of minutes.
We've seen Kinsey a lot on the defensive side of the ball, but that's the first time we've seen him carry the ball on the offensive side.
Under 3 minutes to play. Again, Sweetwater will regroup. By the way, Washington County next week has Milry. That's a 1A school non-region game, and then they'll take on Mobile Christian before having to face Leroy on October the 10th. Pitch near side. Kinsey breaking out of tackles. He's still running across the 20 and down to about the 23-yard line. So a good run by the backup running back, and they just keep bringing him.
And Kinsey's a different kind of back, Graham. He's a big guy. lower center of gravity, big legs, and he's a power back.
And we will present you our play of the game after this play. 1st and 10, all at the 24-yard line.
Am I looking at this right? Is Austin Kinsey just a freshman?
You were looking at that correct.
Already?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
All right, what does our play of the game look like? Well, let's take a look. It is the Anthony Holcomb, one of his big runs tonight. He finishes the night, not only this 66-yard run, but he added several more. He totaled 213 yards, Mike. A couple of touchdowns. He has been an impressive young man for that group of Bulldogs.
He definitely has.
2nd and 2. Fullback. No gain, maybe a loss. And it'll be 3rd down. Smith with a carry. DeAndre Smith, though, has done his damage on defense. He has been all over the field on that side of the ball, along with Cameron Moss. The only bad news for Washington County tonight, that would be the injury to Braxton Kinsey. You hope it's not serious, as we're under a minute. 3rd and 4. This may be the final play of the game. They'll try to run it. Did he stay in bounds or did he get out of bounds? Apparently he got out of bounds.
Yeah.
If it's a close game, your coach is really upset, but not in this case. How about this? 451 total yards of offense.
Wow.
That's a nice night's work if you're Washington County.
Well, if you're Washington County, this game went probably way better than you expected. But it's a testament to your kids and to your coaching staff for putting the game plan together against a very good Sweetwater team to be able to come in here and do this.
Flag is down. This one's going to go out of, actually it's not going to go out of bounds. It will roll to the 30-yard line, but apparently they'll have to kick it again, or will they? It might be a case where Pat Thompson says, let's just get the offense on the field and take care of it. So they will re-kick it apparently, or will they? Nope, they're going to decline the penalty. I want to thank everybody for a good job tonight. Our first time with Christina Chambers. She did a great job down on the field, and you'll be hearing a lot of her as we go through the rest of the regular season.
She's a lot easier to listen to and look at than Mike Llewellyn.
Well, I didn't want to say anything, but
Mike did a great job, but
I think you said it all.
Just got to go.
Yeah,
you got to tell it like it is.
Exactly. Truth hurts sometimes.
It does. It does.
That's the way it goes. One more play will probably take care of our business here in Sweetwater. Not a good night if you're a Sweetwater fan, but they will regroup and get ready for next week, as they're going to lose with this tonight on the final of 39-0. Final seconds will tick off the clock, and there's the horn. A workman night for Washington County. A big victory as they take the lead in this region. 39-0.
And Graham, I think they've established themselves as the team to beat in this region. There's some tough teams. Southern Choctaw, Leroy, they're going to have a lot to do with this.
All right, there's your final. 39-0, Washington County over Sweetwater. We'll be back next week. Trinity and Montgomery Academy live from Montgomery on Thursday Night Touchdowns. For Mike Peacock, Christina Chambers, Graham Dunn, so long, everybody.
This week we're looking back through the pages of history, old French forts, old Spanish cannons, and a Mobile neighborhood coming back to life. We'll also swing open the vault and visit a man who's bringing old windmills back to life. And from swinging windmills to swinging your partner, relive a page of Huntsville history. Plus, a visit with a modern-day man named Cotton. Take a ride through the Marshall County countryside, a ride that's absolutely Alabama.
I remember the moment.
I'll never forget that moment.
That changed my life.
At that moment, it hit me. This is why I joined the Guard. We're soldiers, always ready to protect our country. But we've also got communities. Family, friends, neighbors who count on us. I couldn't believe it. I just saved a life to somebody from my hometown.
See what it means to be a citizen soldier at NationalGuard.com.
2/3 of drivers who died in car crashes chose to ignore this warning. Seatbelts save lives. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
If you're involved in a car crash where a driver's been drinking,
you're 4 times more likely to die.
More people die when it's DUI.
A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
As your Alpha Insurance agent, I can help you customize a plan that'll save you money while still protecting your family.
Saving $10, $15, $20 a month makes a big difference for families.
We're able to give you a better product for a better price with better service.
I try to give the customers the kind of service that I want myself.
That has value. You can't get that online.
We have a great product, a great claim service, and it's a real value buy.
For the best agents in the business, call Alpha